So that's the latest that's coming in. As per US media reports, the Pentagon is considering now using an anti-drone laser system near the residences of Pete Hegseth, the US War Secretary, and the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Washington, D.C. Now, what is important to note that this comes after drone scare at Washington Fort McNair base, and the residences of Pete Hegseth and also Marco Rubio are situated inside this Fort McNair base, and that is why the Pentagon is now considering using an anti-drone laser system near their residences so that they stay safe.
My deepest gratitude to them.
And now let's also take a look at what's happening in India because of this war. Indians feel the brunt of escalating West Asia war. Indian oil companies announce a significant hike in the price of 19 kg commercial cylinders and 5 kg mini cylinders. Prices for 5 kg mini cylinders have risen by 51 rupees, while 19 kg commercial cylinders saw a steeper hike ranging from 195 rupees to 218 rupees. After the revision of rates, the price of a 19 kg commercial LPG cylinder now stands at 2,078.5 rupees in Delhi and 2,031 rupees in Mumbai. Both cities witnessed a surge of 195.5 rupees, and in Kolkata and Chennai, the prices saw a steeper rise of 218 and 203 rupees respectively, bringing the new rates to rupees 2,208 and 2,246 rupees. Amid this, India continues to get LPG reprieve. The LPG carrier BWTYR has arrived at Mumbai safely, passing through the Strait of Hormuz, while another LPG carrier, BWL, is bound for New Mangalore. The tanker is expected to reach India soon. Meanwhile, the US is also feeling the heat of war. US media claim that the US is bracing for an oil price hike and a potential oil spike to $150 per barrel or higher is expected. Reports added that the White House is looking at the economic effects of the higher prices.
Front, we have been speaking to many restaurant owners as to how it has impacted their businesses, and we have been speaking to, in fact, I'm right now at Ladu Samrat, and owner of Ladu Samrat I've spoken to earlier as well, and who has been saying that how commercial LPG, because of the unavailability of it, has hurt the business quite a lot. They have had to change over to induction, tried charcoal as well. However, let me just put this question across to him exactly as to whether the increase of nearly 200 rupees on the price of commercial LPG, will that really impact the business? So will this price rise in commercial LPG, will that impact your business in any way?
Not that much. As far as the price rise is concerned, it is not going to affect in that proportion because the amount is small. And how 200 rupees is going to affect the per plate price? Nothing.
But then availability is something...
It is very important. Uncertainty is very, not good for business.
As you heard, he has had to actually experiment with charcoal and induction as well. But then certainly he's still waiting for availability of LPG to be made so that he can, he can get on to business as he was doing earlier. Let me ask some of the customers here who have been eating. And sir, when you go across to various restaurants, are you able to get the favorite food that you really order every time? What are your options now?
At present, 25% option is available.
The customers here have had to, change their choices of food because of unavailability of gas, and that's one of the reasons why the restaurant owners are not able to cook all those foods that are actually on the menu. But certainly, what they're really hoping, even if the prices go up, there should be at least the availability of gas should be maintained by the government. With cameraman Kiran Sapkal in Mumbai, Vidya for India Today.
And there's also some relief for India amid this LPG crisis. Let's take a look at all the vessels carrying LPG that have arrived so far in India amid this ongoing West Asia war. So in the latest, BWTYR carrying over 45,000 metric ton of LPG arrived on March 31st. That's the latest vessel that has arrived then. There's Pine Gas carrying over 45,000 metric ton of LPG again. That arrived on March 28th. Before that, it was Jagvasant carrying over 42,000 metric ton of LPG. This vessel arrived on March 27th, and before Jagvasant, Apollo Ocean carrying over 17,000 metric ton of LPG arrived on March 26. So you see, every day one or the other vessel is arriving with LPG. Pyxis Pioneer carrying over 47,000 metric ton of LPG arrived on March 22nd, and Nanda Devi carrying 46,000 metric ton of LPG arrived on March 17. Then before that, it was Shivalik vessel that was carrying 46,000 metric ton of LPG that arrived on March 16. So these are the LPG vessels that have been arriving in India despite the Strait of Hormuz tensions and despite the escalating war.
Propaganda aims.
Some more news coming in. UK Maritime Trade Body says regarding incident 17 nautical mile north of Qatar's Ras Laffan, vessel hit by two projectiles, one unexploded. So the UK Maritime Trade Body says that one projectile caused fire which has been extinguished. Iran attacked and set ablaze a fully loaded crude oil tanker off Dubai on Tuesday, and after President Donald Trump warned the United States would obliterate Iran's energy plants and oil wells if it does not open the Strait of Hormuz. And in fact, visuals have been released by Kuwait Petroleum Corporation showing the damage to the Kuwait-flagged Al Salmi in the latest attack on the merchant vessels in the Gulf and Strait of Hormuz. Now, Reuters has confirmed the identity of the vessel as Al Salmi by deck, shape, paint and rigging, which matched the imagery. The date when the photos were taken was verified by a statement from Kuwait Petroleum Corporation on Tuesday that the tanker Al Salmi was struck by an alleged Iranian attack at a Dubai port. So vessels continue to be targeted by Iran. This was a Kuwaiti oil tanker that was attacked near Dubai port, and these are the visuals of the same. This happened on March 31st, that is yesterday, and this was done amid the warnings that were issued by US President Donald Trump that if there's no deal with Iran, if Iran does not strike a deal, then Trump would obliterate, the US would obliterate the energy infrastructure in Iran. The West Asia war is now hitting closer to home, both on the ground and in daily life. In central Israel, a missile strike in Bnei Brak has left several people injured after a residential area was hit. At the same time, the economic impact is beginning to bite, with fuel prices set for their first major hike since the war began. From explosions on the streets to rising costs at the pump, our ground reports capture how this conflict is no longer distant but is now reshaping everyday life in Israel. My colleague Pranay Upadhyay gets us this exclusive report from the ground. Take a look.
I'm currently at one of the gas station, petrol station of Israel's capital, Tel Aviv, and prices here are likely to go up very soon. Behind me is the rate card here, and within 24 hours, the prices are likely to jump 1 shekel, almost 60 rupees, and this is considered as a very big increase. This is how this gas station looks like right now. Though to be a big increase, and entire world is facing the heat of this conflict, this West Asia conflict. Prices are increasing. The international crude oil prices are hovering around or above $100 per barrel. And in fact, every country in the world is facing heat of this energy disruption, this energy crisis, including Israel. And common people in Israel are worried, are concerned. I spoke to a few people, those who do not want to come on camera, but certainly they are concerned. They are, saying that we do not want to pay a high price of petrol increase. But yes, ahead of this heavy increase, which is considered as very unusual increase of 1 shekel, because normally they have monthly price appreciation, and usually it is around 0.2, 0.5, but now this is almost over 1 shekel increase, which is pinching the pocket of common Israelis here in Tel Aviv. and in Israel. Pranay Upadhyay, reporting from Tel Aviv for India Today.
Commitment and courage of the women and men of Unifield.
With that, it's a wrap on this bulletin. Thank you for watching India Today. More news and updates on the raging West Asia war will continue on the other side. Keep watching India Today.
Unifield continues to rise.
आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी के परिवार में लिएंडर पेस का एंट्री एक ऐतिहासिक है। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने खेल और खिलाड़ियों के लिए पिछले 12 वर्षों में जो काम किया है उससे प्रभावित होकर के, इंस्पायर्ड होकर के आज लिएंडर पेस हमारे बीच में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का मेंबरशिप लेकर के सदस्य बने हैं।
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
At a time when questions are being raised on shortcuts used by many to get to what they believe is the optimum weight for them, shortcuts involving use of medicines to lose weight, often unprescribed. Here is the story of a man who has managed successful remission of diabetes and has also kept his hypertension and his cancer at bay with sheer dedication and faith on improving lifestyle. Nitin Chandra, a 60-year-old IT professional, is a living testimony of how nature works like medicine and that improving your lifestyle can help you get to your health goals. On paper, diabetes is a lifelong disease, but for many, it does not have to be like that. From fat to fit, from diabetic to healthy, from sedentary to active, from mood swings to a state of happiness. No shortcuts, no overnight fixes. Just small changes done daily, powerful enough to rewrite a diagnosis. A reminder that while diabetes may be chronic, for some, remission is within reach with the right support and sustained efforts.
Region deserve.
Co-powered by the Tyron Airline.
A very good morning. You're watching India Today Television. I'm Sneha Mordani. This is India's agenda, and uncertainty over West Asia war continues. That is our top focus story we're telling you about. Pete Hegseth meeting with soldiers in West Asia. Where does this leave all of us, with warnings coming in from the American president saying that
There should be action on the part of Iran on what has been decided as far as ending of the war is concerned. We're getting you more on that. Let's begin with the headlines first. Hegseth meets soldiers in West Asia. Donald Trump says will leave Iran within 2 to 3 weeks. Says there is no need for deal with Tehran to end the war. The big question, is he about to announce the end to war in his address to the nation that happens to be tomorrow? Iran threatens to attack US companies Google, Apple, Tesla are Tehran targets. Iran also mobilizes soldiers for defense. Iranian forces showcase military might. War widens cracks within the NATO. Allies raise red flags, deny use of its bases by the US. Trump is fuming, calling them unhelpful allies. Not very good news for all of us here. In India, commercial LPG prices have been hiked by 195 rupees per 19 kilogram cylinder amid the crisis. Prices of domestic LPG also, though, remains unchanged. Your air travel is set to get costlier. Jet fuel price doubled to 2.7 lakh per kiloliter. Amid surge in global oil prices, jet fuel prices have been hiked. Malayalam director and producer Ranjit arrested on charges of sexual assault after a young actor filed a complaint. Filmmaker handed over to Kochi police. All right, marginal hike in jet fuel prices. Government cushions the shock of jet fuel price hike, though clarification on doubling of jet fuel prices. Government says above 2 lakh, not for regular flights. 8.6% hike in jet fuel prices for scheduled airlines. 2 lakh plus jet fuel price for non-scheduled airlines. All right, details that we have at this point in time is how the government is cushioning the shock of jet fuel prices hike. It's a marginal hike in jet fuel prices, but expected courtesy the war that we've been seeing for over a month plus. Right now, it's a marginal hike in jet fuel prices, with the government cushioning the shock of jet fuel price hike and talking about the fact, and there is a clarification on doubling of jet fuel prices as well. Karishma has more. Above 2 lakh, Karishma, I understand the government has put out a clarification on the same, plus jet fuel price for non-scheduled airlines. What does this mean, really, for you and me, Karishma?
So there are two announcements to this. One is the jet fuel price that has been announced by IOC for non-scheduled operators and for charters or for ad hoc, while there is the one that is announced for scheduled operators, which is primarily how it will impact general audience like you and me who prefer traveling via air a lot of times. The first part of it is has seen a hike beyond 100%, but the second part of it, which is the fuel hike for domestic carriers in India, has seen about a hike between 14 to 18%. Which was much on the well-expected lines, and to be honest, it's slightly lower than what was on the expected lines, because let alone in the month of March, which is from February 26 to that of March 20, we had seen that the price hike was about close to 30 to 35%. Despite the fact that it's 15 to 16%, we need to be cautious of the fact that there could be an increase in airfares going forward, because for airlines, any hike in jet fuel is a hike in their operational cost, and the whole cost, dynamics cost, economics changes, because jet fuel contributes close to about 40% of how an airline at least operates in India. Now, the good news is that if you have your flights already booked, there is no impact. But further going, there could be a slight impact, but that could be in calibrated format because airlines also don't want to lose on their consumers.
Those details at this point in time as far as the fuel price hike is concerned. Also explain to us, Karishma, how is the government looking at cushioning this, this hit really for us? Also because this was really expected, isn't it, given the war?
Yeah, so primarily, Minister of Civil Aviation, Mr. Ram Mohan Naidu, had also requested and conveyed the states to try to reduce as much VAT as they could. But in order to also insulate domestic travel costs from substantial increase, oil marketing companies had this discussion with Ministry of Petroleum and Ministry of Civil Aviation, and they've only passed a partial and staggered increase of 25% to the airlines. While the foreign routes will pay for full increase in ATF prices, there is some kind of cushioning that government has given to domestic airlines. That is also because of the turbulence that the Indian aviation sector has seen at least in the past 2 years.
This point in time is my colleague Karishma Asudani telling us about how the government has said above 2 lakh not for regular flights, 8.6% hike in jet fuel prices for scheduled airlines is what the government has just announced. With over a month into this conflict, the impact was visible globally, but now there are finally signs of the Iran war ending. American President Donald Trump has said that America could be leaving Iran very soon, in about 2 to 3 weeks. Now, this is a major change in stance by the United States, as the Strait of Hormuz does not seem to remain a bone of contention anymore. Donald Trump, during a press conference in the Oval Office, said Washington is preparing to wind down the month-long war. Trump also said a deal with Tehran is not necessary to bring the conflict to an end. However, Trump asserted that the objective of U.S. campaign against Iran was to push them back to Stone Age and dismantle their nuclear capabilities, which was actually achieved. So it's the shifting of goalposts of sorts. Amid this big development, Trump is going to be addressing the nation on Iran on Thursday at 6:30 a.m., which is going to be the Indian Standard Time for us. This announcement about the conflict has left the world speculating about the future of the conflict in West Asia.
All I have to do is leave Iran, and we'll be doing that very soon, and they'll become tumbling down. And stock prices were up today almost to a record because they know two things. Number one, we have a safe country. We had to take a little detour because we had a madman named Khomeini, who sadly is no longer with us. And we had regime change already. We've knocked out one regime, then we knocked out the second regime. Now we have a group of people that are very different. They're much more reasonable, I think much less radicalized. We have had regime change. We're dealing with people that are much more rational, and it's amazing what we've done.
Dr. Farkhani, international relations expert and Isfahan University professor, is joining us from Iran at this point in time. I'm going to thank you for your time. I want to begin by asking you, how is this statement by Donald Trump being viewed, given that, there is no conversation around the Strait of Hormuz at this point in time? Earlier, it did look like the end of the war, the future of the war is revolving around the Strait of Hormuz. That doesn't seem to be reflecting in the statement that he's made. Some sort of an announcement also that is going to be made tomorrow. How is Iran looking at these developments? I would think that this is a bit of a shifting of the goalpost as far as this war is concerned, isn't it?
I believe that Trump is really delusional, and since he couldn't reach his targets, what the child killer Netanyahu has deceived him for, then he's trying every moment to create an achievement to call himself the victorious and to jump out of the war. And he is nowadays insisting on this narrative that there is a new regime in Iran and the regime has changed, because that is the reason, and it's showing that he couldn't reach his targets. Also, last night he said that Iran doesn't have to make a deal with the United States to end the war. You know, it means that he is the loser in the war. Although he may claim something totally opposite the next day, I believe that this is Trump's strategy to pump ambiguity into the political equations to create achievements, specifically if he is defeated, like his situation at this moment.
You know, how do you look at Iran responding to this? Also, given the fact that, you know, from the point where he said Iran should be finished off, pressure from Gulf countries to say that Iran has to be finished off at the kind of attacks they've launched on Gulf for no fault of theirs, and then him saying that Iran is begging really for a deal. And then this statement, you know, hinting at a possible end to the war, clearly saying it's going to be wrapped up, this winding down, which has started. What really seems to have worked behind the curtains here?
That's what I said. This is his scenario. This is his strategy. He enjoys this kind of ambiguity in equations. And then, therefore, once he's saying that we will do harsh attacks, the next day he says, okay, Iran doesn't need to make any kind of deal for ending this war. First of all, he enjoys this kind of ambiguity.
Okay.
And he is doing this kind of strategy always in every moment of his presidency, from the first day of election until now, you know. But and in this regard, I should say that when he pumps this kind of ambiguity, he can himself sometimes victorious, because he can make out of lies some achievements.
Right.
For example, like this one that he has said that, okay, the regime is changed in Iran. Okay, we have a younger Khamenei in our country, and all routines, everything is the same, and nothing has changed. Just his narrative is always changing.
Yes.
I should say, I should say that America is a country, the United States is a country that is built up over narratives. We shouldn't forget that the most important and influential nature of the U.S. foreign policy, which let it become the superpower once, was the U.S. control over the mind controlling and creating narratives of this country as the only victorious. But Iran has ruined this narrative, and there is no more the U.S. as superpower. And Iran has proved the whole world that it was all fake, and it was all constructed, and the U.S. power factors are too vulnerable.
All right, I also want to ask you, and this really is my last question, even as I think about what really has happened over a period of a month. Time and again, different kind of statements. He spoke about a regime change in the beginning. Then he spoke about being successful in destroying the military, destroying the top-rung leadership of your country. What has the war really ended up achieving? Beyond just destruction, loss of human lives, your strained ties with Gulf nations that we've seen. They've been really upset with Iran over what has happened as well, because at the end of the day, civilian infrastructure too has been attacked by Iran, isn't it? So flip-flop on both sides. You all had said that there is an apology. We are saying sorry to Gulf countries and we aren't attacking them. But the spate of attacks also continued. So what did this war end up achieving at the end of the day?
As I said, Trump tries always to make narratives. And for example, this film that you were showing, and also he has published it in on his social truth. I should say I have read the website of PolityFact, excuse me, and it has stated that only about 3% of Donald Trump's statements and claims were not false. It means 97% he lies. Yeah, and Trump, like a winning child, has a tendency to exaggerate himself, use operations, and those of the Zionist regime. Since he has failed to achieve any of these objectives, like regime change or dividing Iran or owning the Iran's oil, so in this war in Iran, and on the contrary, he has faced criticism both globally and within the United States, while contributing to the expansion of Iran's influence and the visibility of its power. He has now resorted to publishing videos whose authenticity is highly questionable. It is unclear where, for example, these films that you have shown and also he on his social truth actually belong, and there is no evidence indicating where it is. Meanwhile, the United States and the Zionist regime have during this period, particularly targeted non-military areas, resulting in the deaths of civilians, including women and children. Imagine, for instance, the United States and this fake Zionist regime carrying out and strike on an amusement park in Iran. You see? But what we see as an end for this war, I believe there would be no ceasefire, no deal. I believe that Iran will continue its totally legitimate responses to aggressions of this kind of U.S. Arabic Hebrew alliance until a full deterrence is established and settled, and Iranian conditions and the guarantees that we are talking about them are fulfilled. Otherwise, we won't have any kind of ceasefire. Iran is totally ready for a long war.
Right. All right. I'm going to thank you for joining in and sharing your views with us. The message from Iran is clear that you started it, but we will decide the terms and conditions to end it. Appreciate your time here. Listening to what the U.S. president has in fact said as far as his claims about achieving the U.S.'s objectives for starting this war is concerned. Listening to what he said.
2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3. We're hitting them very hard. Last night we knocked out tremendous amounts of missile-making facilities. As you probably read or wrote, we knocked out. Excuse me?
Pardon me for interrupting. The U.S. will be gone or done with the war in 2
I think we're 2 or 3 weeks. We'll leave because there's no reason for us to do this. Look, problem with the Strait, a guy can take a mine, drop it in the water, and say, "Oh, it's unsafe." It's not like you're taking out an army or you're taking out a country, or they can drop it. Or you can take a machine gun from the shore and shoot a few bullets at a ship, or maybe an over-the-shoulder missile, small missiles. That's not for us. That'll be for France. That'll be for whoever's using the Strait. But I think when we leave, probably that's all cleared up. Today I heard tremendous numbers of ships were sailing through. We're negotiating with them right now. They've been, again, we have had regime change. Now, regime change was not one of the things I had as a goal. I had one goal. They will have no nuclear weapon. And that goal has been attained. They will not have nuclear weapons. But we're finishing the job. And I think within maybe 2 weeks, maybe a couple of days longer to do the job. But we want to knock out every single thing they have. Now, it's possible that we'll make a deal before that, because we'll hit bridges, and we've hit some. We'll hit some bridges. We've got a couple of nice bridges in mind. But if they come to the table, that'll be good. But it doesn't matter whether they come or not. We've set them back. It'll take 15 to 20 years for them to rebuild what we've done to them. They have no Navy. They have no military. They have no air force. They have no telecommunications. They have no anti-aircraft systems. They have no leaders. You know, their leaders are all gone. That's why we have regime change. No, they don't have to make a deal with me. When we feel that they are, for a long period of time, put into the Stone Ages and they won't be able to come up with a nuclear weapon, then we'll leave. Whether we have a deal or not, it's irrelevant. Now, it's possible that we'll have a deal because they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal more than I want to make a deal. But in a fairly short period of time, we'll be finished. They will not be able to do a nuclear weapon for years. And when they are ready, maybe in a long time from now, able to do a nuclear weapon, you'll have a president that will be like me in that he will go there and he'll knock the hell out of them again because they cannot have a nuclear weapon. They are very radicalized people. They're very sick leaderships. We'll be leaving very soon. And if France or some other country wants to get oil or gas, they'll go up through the Strait and Hormuz Strait. They'll go right up there and they'll be able to fend for themselves. I think it'll be very safe, actually, but we have nothing to do with that. What happens in the Strait, we're not going to have anything to do with because these countries, China will go up and they'll fuel up their beautiful ships and they'll leave and they'll take care of themselves. There's no reason for us to do it. We hit them hard. We got rid of a lot of the radicalized lunatics along the Strait.
And I'm going straight across to Pranay Upadhyay, getting in more details in that story. Pranay continues to be with us from Tel Aviv, where he's tracking that big story. Pranay, you know, what do you think is going to be the shape that the U.S. ground operations Iran would take? Are talks and diplomacy still the way out? Because what we really have at this point in time is very conflicting sort of a statement that has been made by the American president.
You're right. U.S. Department of War did authorize induction of some specialized troops in the region, especially like 82nd Airborne Division or U.S. Marine. But this clearly indicates, some limited rate, some special forces infantry operation, but not going for any full-scale invasion or some full-scale operation. Many analysts think that U.S. may carry some targeted operation in or around Kharg Island or even on the coastline of Iran, so that they can establish some kind of dominance and free up the Strait of Hormuz and diminish the Iranian capacity or Iranian capability to target the Strait of Hormuz, to have the strategic leverage there. And in fact, U.S. A priority remains that the Strait of Hormuz should be open. But I don't think so that U.S. would want to go for any regime change by any military invasion or by kind of some military operation in the mainland of Iran and going to Tehran. I do not see this as a possibility here. But yeah, as far as the operation against Kharg Island or some of the island territories of Iran, I think United States would want to use it as a military leverage to bring Iran to negotiating table and make Iran agree or Iran accept the terms he has proposed.
With that report, I'm going to leave it at that for the moment. Let's tell you about Donald Trump's big address amid the war. But the big question, what really is going to be Trump focusing on this time around? Possibilities of him wanting to talk about the end of the war and the ending of the Iran war. Also on pulling out the American troops, and a possibility that he would be touching upon that as well. Deal or no deal with Iran? Enough indication that the war should end even without a deal. Opening up of the Strait of Hormuz, which has been a bone of contention and a sticking point for weeks together now. Rising energy costs for Americans, so back home, fair amount of domestic pressure as far as rising energy cost is concerned. That's an audience that he certainly has to cater to. Government's plunging approval rating. Americans aren't happy with this action, and that's the reason why that is something that he would be perhaps keeping at the back of his mind. Also, rift with NATO allies. They haven't been cooperating. They haven't been helpful allies. That's been the refrain from American President Donald Trump, something that he might be addressing as well. The West Asia war has now entered its second month. The rhetoric on both sides getting sharper from Washington. The message is clear. All options remain on the table. American leadership has not ruled out ground operations, with signals that if Iran does not come to the table, the conflict would intensify even further. At the same time, top US officials are projecting confidence, claiming strategic gains, asserting that Iran's capabilities have been weakened, reiterating that the conflict will end on American terms. But Iran is hitting back with equal force, warning of retaliation. In a significant escalation, Iranian forces have also issued threats against multiple US tech-linked facilities, arming of strikes from April 1st to 8 p.m. Tehran time, warning civilians to evacuate surrounding areas. On the ground, military coordination is also stepping up. The American Central Command Chief has met top Israeli leadership, with both sides discussing the next phase of operations. And even as diplomacy remains uncertain, Iran is showcasing its military strength, highlighting the scale of its ground forces and paramilitary networks.
What did they threaten them with? PP guns? Or
Well, that's
they don't have much left to threaten.
my question for you is: are you?
I don't know. I mean, what did they? You made a statement. What did they threaten them with? I don't know. Tell me, how did they threaten them?
Well, all I know is that they threatened him, sir.
What does that mean?
Fair enough.
He said something nasty.
Is the government in touch with these companies? Are you helping to backstop them?
You don't even know what the threat was. What was the threat? I haven't heard it. What was the threat? Did they say they're going to blow them up? They're going to hit them? They're not. You know what they're not going to do? They're not going to hit them with a nuclear weapon.
All right, listening to what Trump's top aide said about sending boots on the ground.
As far as President Trump and boots on the ground, I don't understand why the base, which they have already, they understand, wouldn't have faith in his ability to execute on this. Look at his track record of pursuing peace through strength, America first outcomes. What he's simply saying, and it's exactly true, and I've said from this podium too, we're not going to foreclose any option. You can't fight and win a war if you tell your adversary what you are willing to do or what you are not willing to do, to include boots on the ground. Our adversary right now thinks there are 15 different ways we could come at them with boots on the ground. And guess what? There are. So if we needed to, we could execute those options on behalf of the President of the United States and this department. Or maybe we don't have to use them at all. Maybe negotiations work, or maybe there's a different approach. The point is to be unpredictable in that. Certainly not let anybody know what you're willing to do or not do. But if anybody has internalized the lessons of Iraq and Afghanistan, as the first one, President Trump, to call them out for what they are, he's not going to repeat those lessons. And I think I've been very clear about that from the podium.
There continues to be with us. But I want to ask you about Pete Hegseth's words. What do they really indicate about Trump's war gambit? What does the Trump administration mean when it says the next days of war will be decisive?
Clearly, if you see the latest statement of U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, he said that we negotiate with bombs. So, definitely, U.S. want to have an aggressive posture against Iran, and in fact, U.S. want Iran to be decisively defeated. But this clearly indicates that this aggressive posture also include more military action, involvement of other countries as well. And in fact, if other countries do not come along with the United States, then there will be more intense strikes against Iran. And in fact, if you see the strategy of President Donald Trump here, he does not want to get involved in Iran for a long-term commitment, operation like Afghanistan or Iraq. But certainly, he wants Iran to be defeated, or at least, Iran to be brought to a point where he can claim victory, or he can tell his support base in United States before going to midterm election that he has achieved something which many other U.S. presidents could not achieve for long. Certainly, he does not want, to go in Iran for a long period of commitment, and also his limited intention is to decapacitate Iran in terms of its military capabilities, in terms of its missile launch capabilities, and in fact its nuclear ambitions. So next few days could be decisive for this conflict, and the upcoming phase could be critical as far as this West Asia war is concerned, because both United States and Israel are giving indication that in coming days they can intensify strikes over Iran. On the other side, if you see that Iran also remains defiant, the missile launch capability, despite United States and Israel carrying out so many operations on Iran, targeting many facilities of Iran, Iran is still being able to hit back at various US bases or countries, those who are hosting US bases, and also they are able to hit back at Israel as well. So this remains a concern, and in fact the larger issue remains here that this situation, if not resolved, if not brought to some kind of a solution or a diplomatic understanding, this can leave this entire region more vulnerable and more unstable.
But Iran also, Pranay, claims that US tech giants like Microsoft, Google, Intel are in fact, have attacked Israeli infrastructure, telecom hubs. What really is in the ground situation in Israel and in Tel Aviv in particular?
This is a very serious threat. I must say that, if Iran would start targeting these tech giants, this will complicate situation further for President Donald Trump, because, these tech giants or these business giants or multinational companies of the United States, be it Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and many other companies for that matter, they are the economic engines of United States. And, there will be backlash, there will be, impact in United States as well if these business houses or these business entities get targeted in West Asia, because all these tech giants have their presence, their data centers, their establishment in GCC countries and various other countries of West Asia, including Israel. And as Iran has threatened that for every assassination, every strike, now these tech giants or these business entities of the United States should also be prepared for the Iranian strikes. So we have to see that how the United States react to these kind of attacks if Iran targets any of these business entities. And as far as the ground situation is concerned, I can tell you that in last 24 hours there have been over 600 missile alerts sounded across Israel. In fact, today the central part of Tel Aviv, or the central part of Israel, was largely on target, and we have seen a change of pattern in last 36 hours. And we have seen that how there has been coordinated attack by both Hezbollah and Iran in northern part of Israel. How Houthis from Yemen and Iran coordinated their strikes in southern part of Israel, and in fact how many parts of central Israel were targeted, include Bnei Barak or including the capital city of Tel Aviv. Clearly, the broader situation remains here that despite Israel maintaining high level of preparedness, high level of vigilance, and in fact a robust missile defense system, civilian injuries are still going on. Infrastructure damage is being suffered in different areas of Israel, and in fact that is a big challenge as far as these cluster ammunition, their usage is concerned. The kind of missiles being used by Iran, that remains a challenge for Israel.
This is the staggering cost of conflict, and it's rising by the hour. I'm going to leave it there for the moment, Pranay. Talk a little about how things have been going as far as the finances of this war is concerned. In just the first 100 hours, the US had burned through $3.7 billion. Stretch that to the first 6 days, and the bill jumps to $11.3 billion. Right now, the war machine is running at an estimated $2 billion every single day, and that's just operational costs. Add to it the equipment losses, already between $2 to $3 billion from destroyed assets, damaged system, battlefield costs. Zoom out further. Over just a few weeks, total spending is projected between $20 billion to $40 billion. That brings the total so far to anywhere between $30 to $70 billion and counting. But the bigger picture is even more staggering. The Pentagon is now seeking a massive $200 billion funding push. It's broke. And long-term projections ranging from a mind-boggling $100 billion to over $300 billion. This is not just the conflict, but for US, a rapidly expanding financial drain. The Trump administration is burning billions and billions of dollars. And we have more responses coming in as far as the aviation fuel is concerned. The aviation mantri's big response on the jet fuel hike. The Minister of Civil Aviation, Ram Naidu, has now spoken on an ATF prices staggered increase of 25%, 15 rupees a litre for domestic airlines is both pragmatic and forward-looking. Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu says with ATF prices in India deregulated since 2001 and revised monthly based on international benchmarks, facing extraordinary pressure due to global energy disruptions and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, a steep increase of over 100% was anticipated from the 1st of April. In this challenging context, the decision by PSU oil marketing companies under the Ministry of Petroleum in consultation with the Ministry of Civil Aviation to implement only a partial and staggered increase of 25% increase for domestic airlines is pragmatic and forward-looking, while ensuring that foreign routes bear the full market allowed price. This calibrated approach will help shield passengers from sharp fare increases, ease the burden on domestic airlines, support the continued stability of the aviation sector at this crucial juncture, says the government. It will benefit the broader economy by ensuring the smooth movement of cargo and maintaining vital air connectivity as well. This for trade and for logistics. Going across to Amit Bhardwaj, in a sense, Amit, the government here saying that this could have been far worse. It isn't it?
Sneha, we have been reporting on India Today as to how the global spike or surge in the aviation turbine fuel, or what is also known as jet fuel, could actually make the airlines bleed in India, and the passengers will suffer as well, because what we had seen that ever since the beginning of the Iran war or the West Asia conflict, the prices of the ATF had doubled in a span of 4 weeks, and it was bound to have a similar kind of impact on India's aviation turbine fuel cost prices as well. And this morning, when that ATF prices were revised, we had reported on India Today as to how the prices had doubled in India. For instance, in Delhi, the price for 1 KL of ATF was 99,000, and that had increased to 2,07,000 rupees per KL. That was immense increase, and it was bound to make the airlines extremely uncomfortable, airfares spiking and other problems as well. But as we had reported on India Today in the past few days, that the Ministry of Civil Aviation is holding constant talks with the Petroleum Ministry as well as other stakeholders to ensure that the burden of the spike does not get directly, put onto the shoulders of the passengers or, for instance, the airline operators. Now the Petroleum Ministry as well as the Minister of Civil Aviation, Ram Mohan Naidu, have mentioned as to how, because of these deliberations, there is some sort of relief that has been given to the airline operators as far as the domestic operations are concerned. So for our viewers' understanding, only 25% of the global rise in the ATF prices is going to be passed on to the airline operators when it comes to the domestic travel. That means that there will be only 25% of the increment in ATF for domestic travel. For international routes, obviously this price will be 100% increment in a consideration of the prices that has increased globally. But this is certainly a big relief for the passengers at large who were planning to have their planning their air travel in the days to come, because otherwise the airfares would have shot to unimaginable levels, because airlines are already struggling with other problems. As far as international routes are also concerned, the long routes that they are taking, operational disruptions that they have faced in the past month, as well as VAT concerns that they have been raising in context to the ATF. So relief as this in a staggered manner, only 25% of the increment will be applicable for the domestic travel. And as we speak, Sneha, the rates of ATF has been revised. Now the new rates have been also notified by the Indian oil in
Come
this
to you
context,
for
because
more on that. As far as the jet fuel hike is concerned, there is more news coming in. Oil and Aviation Ministry interfere. And this is what we're telling our viewers at this point in time. Government intervention leads to revised jet fuel hike. Government ensures jet fuel rates are drastically slashed after the Petroleum Ministry and the Ministry of Civil Aviation intervention. ATF rates have now been revised. ATF rates have been drastically slashed. The suggestions amid then remain of this staggered increase. What does that really mean? And we also see that the government is trying to really cushion this out, isn't it?
Yes, Neha. First of all, let's inform our viewers about the rates which have been increased. So this morning, if you would have gone to websites such as Indian Oil, the rate of ATF this morning was 207. 2,07,000 for Delhi per kiloliter. That was the price. Now it has been revised after the Ministry of Petroleum's statement and Minister of Civil Aviation statement. And for Delhi, now that ATF price is 1,04,927 rupees per kiloliter. So that is a drastic and dramatic slice in the prices. It has been drastically reduced after the intervention of the Petroleum Ministry as well as the Ministry of Civil Aviation, because for the past at least 2 weeks there have been constant consultations between the MOCA and the Petroleum Ministry. Minister of Civil Aviation Ram Mohan Naidu has been, what I have learned through my sources is that he has been himself holding those consultations with the counterpart ministries, ensuring that OMCs do not pass on the burden directly to the airlines, because that would have negatively reflected in the aviation sector as well. Because if your prices go up to that insane levels, then in that case tourism suffers, air operation suffers, the passenger load, there's a fear of passenger load going down, people deferring their plans of travel, and it could also affect the psyche of people who have gotten into the habit of booking air tickets. So this is a long journey that India has covered. India happens to be one of the biggest evolving, expanding aviation market, and obviously the stakeholders and the industry insiders did not want this situation to happen, which was unfolding anyway because of the global crisis, oil crisis in context to the Iran war. So obviously after that intervention, these prices have been slashed to drastic terms, and now the prices which were reflecting 2,07,000 per kiloliter this morning have been now brought down to 1,04,000 or 1,05,000 per kiloliter, as far as if you get that refuel done in Delhi. So there's another question in context to whether the state governments will be also reducing their VAT, because there have been separate consultation by the Minister of Civil Aviation Ram Mohan Naidu with the chief ministers of the states. So is that happening? That is a big question right now, because if you note that term, it's staggered. So does that mean that in the days to come, OMCs could further pass on that burden onto the airline operators, and eventually air tickets going up, the prices going up? That also
that is a big fear, isn't it? And also uncertainty around that question. Amit Bhardwaj, I'm going to thank you for the moment for getting in those details and putting that into perspective. So staggered increase. So the big question, airfare to get costlier. Marginal hike in jet fuel prices. Earlier, the price was at 96,638 rupees. Now the revised price would be rupees 8,289, an increase of 8,000 rupees or so, at over 1,927 rupees. This is going to be the price in Delhi. A marginal hike in jet fuel prices. Earlier, the price was at about 99,000 rupees, and the revised estimate is going to see an increase of round of about 9,800 rupees, and the increase is going to be for up to 1,09,450 rupees. This is going to be in the city of Kolkata. Then an increase again at 90,000. The price earlier at 90,452 rupees. Revised price is going to be an increase of about almost 8,000 rupees, 7,795, and the cost is going to come up to 98,247 in the city of Mumbai. So this is the possible increase that one is looking at as far as the airfare is concerned. We're telling you, we're getting you all the details of what really is expected in days to come. It does appear that the government is trying to cushion in and also ensure that the burden doesn't get carried forward to the consumer, to the customer, the passenger at the end of the day. But it does look like that there will be a price one will have to pay for the war with the blockage of the Strait of Hormuz for days together now. Eventually, some amount of the burden will be passed on to the consumer, and that is a big concern. Jet fuel hike, Oil and Aviation Ministry have stepped in. The government seems to have intervened, leading to revised jet fuel price. Government has ensured the same, and talking about this to the Ministry of Civil Aviation, looking at the cost of jet fuel and also as far as the charges for jet fuel is concerned. We have these details on how the prices could actually marginally be shooting up.
But we also owe them a wise approach to peacekeeping.
Right, more news coming in at this point in time, and we have an update from Tel Aviv where Pranay Upadhyay is with us. I hear, Pranay, that sirens are blaring in Tel Aviv. Where are you right now? What more can you tell us?
Let me show you the impact site first. I am in the city of Tel Aviv and not very far from my hotel, not very far from the Indian embassy in Tel Aviv, and not very far from the branch of the US embassy here in Tel Aviv. A missile fragment landed here, and you can very well see the impact of this missile, that how much damage it has caused. In fact, a big crater is created. In fact, they have bound this entire area. We were first one to reach here, but they have bound this area for anyone to access this region. And in fact, the police and forensic teams are at the scene. They are trying to collect all the evidences. In fact, they have cordoned off this entire area, but a big crater is there in the road, and this has created, you can very well see this missile fragment, missile piece, which landed here, caused this much of impact. Road surface got peeled off. In fact, a crater some feet deep is created at this very site, you can see. And now, police and forensic teams are at scene to collect the evidences. In fact, they are also trying to collect the evidences that, how much damage it has caused, that because probably, some outer facade of this building got damaged. In fact, this is close to Sheraton Hotel. And let me tell you, Sneha, that this is successively second impact in the same vicinity. Yesterday also, a missile piece landed in this similar area, and probably US embassy could be on target, because not very far from the place where I am standing right now, down the road is US embassy, and on the other side there is Indian embassy as well. So you can very well imagine that how sensitive this area is. Missile batteries, the air defense batteries of Israel are working round the clock to neutralize all these incoming projectiles. And we heard a lot of boom sounds around. So probably this could have been a larger missile, or could be a cluster ammunition which managed to sneak into, managed to get in the, managed to get inside the missile defense system, and in fact could penetrate it. And therefore, this has become a bigger challenge, a larger challenge for, let me show you from the other angle as well, that how these missiles landing in different parts of Tel Aviv are causing damage here. You can see a missile piece landed at this very site, this very place, and you can see that, look, the security guy is trying to collect pieces, fragments from this place. Yeah. We have been asked to go to the other side. In fact, police and forensic teams are inspecting this very site here. And in fact, the Home Front Command of Israel has asked people not to go close to any impact site, because there could be some explosives left in those missile fragments, in those missile pieces. They're trying to collect all those pieces from this place and see this area. This is on the beach side. This is largely the hotel area, but US embassy is also close by. Indian embassy is also close by on the same road. And you can very well imagine that how the Iranian missiles are able to penetrate the Israeli missile defense system. And in fact, they are causing damage. Even after interception, they cause damage, because they are using cluster ammunition, and this cluster ammunition, even after interception, scatter, in a wider area. And this is how they cause damage. Back to you, Sneha.
Pranay Upadhyay with the very latest on that story. It's a worrying situation, isn't it? But at the end of the day, where you are, Pranay, things are in a way, in fact, the kind of arrangements that rather have been made in Tel Aviv, that people are prepared for eventualities like this. And that's the reason why these developments don't really come as a shock to the people. They're prepared to get into bunkers, and are prepared to protect themselves. This is how the government has prepared them over a period of, a couple of years or so, isn't it?
Absolutely, Sneha. You
Yes.
can see that how the security personnel, this Tel Aviv police personnel, can get into that pit created by that creator, made by the missile impact, and he's trying to collect all those pieces, all those fragments of this missile. But as far as the people are concerned, this is a morning time in Tel Aviv, and let me show you that a large number of joggers are there at the beach. People are back to their business. People are back to their morning schedules at this place. And this is how the resilience of Israel also works. That on one side of the road, there is a missile impact. On one side of the road, the police personnel and the security guys are collecting those evidences. And on the other side, it's people are back to their normal routine. People are back to their morning schedule. And see, this is how the action site is looking right now. In fact, police and forensic authorities are there. In fact, the emergency response teams have also arrived. And in fact, let me show you one more thing, that this small car is the first emergency response team to arrive at this place. And this is how they use different vehicles, such a small vehicle. In fact, this is the MDA or United Hadzala vehicle, the emergency response vehicle. And a person who arrived in this vehicle is a disabled guy, but he turned out to be the first responder to this location. In fact, I reached first because it is very close to my hotel, and after me, if someone from the emergency response team arrived to this place, was this guy only. And in fact, this is how they are attending to the situation. But people are back to their normal life as well. In fact, some people are playing volleyball as well. Some people are running and jogging. And this is a stark difference. You can see that on one side, there is an impact side. On the other side, people are back to their normal routine because they have the confidence in the system, in their missile defense system, that that system is working, and it would be able to protect them and their lives. And people go to shelters. And the moment I landed here, I received a message that now the emergency has ended. People can get out of those shelters. But this remains a reality, Sneha. At this, in this battle zone, in this conflict zone, that repeatedly alerts are sounding, alerts are coming on mobile phones, and in fact, sirens are blaring. And this is not the case of Tel Aviv alone. In fact, in last 12 hours, if you see, multiple missile alerts have come in Israel. In fact, missile attacks and drone attacks are taking place in different parts of Israel, and the Home Front Command of Israel is alerting people to remain, inside the shelters whenever the alerts are sounded.
Would thank you for the moment, Pranay Upadhyay, with the very latest as far as Tel Aviv is concerned. Sirens have gone off, and Pranay Upadhyay just giving us an overview of the situation and how it is like being in a country which is just, in fact, which is in war, really. It's a very difficult situation the reporters are reporting on. Pranay, be safe. I'm going to thank you for joining in at this point in time. Our focus continues to be firmly on West Asia and the developments from there. For the moment, I'm pausing into a quick commercial break here.
Character, the taste of success.
India Today Group, the most awarded network at Ramnath Goenka Awards.
only network to win awards in investigative journalism across print, digital and broadcast. 3 awards, 3 reporters. The winners in civic journalism, print, digital are Shreya Chatterjee and Arvind Oja. The winner in investigative reporting broadcast is Shreya Chatterjee, India Today TV. And in investigative reporting, print, digital, aajtak.in. India Today Group, setting the gold standard in journalism, always.
Terrorists have no respect. Recognize the suffering in this region. Not by we must
Hi, I'm Sana. Here's your weather update. Daily maximum 35 and minimum 20 degrees. Mumbai maximum 28 and minimum 26 degrees. Kolkata maximum 39 and minimum 25 degrees. Bengaluru maximum 33 and minimum 22 degrees. Chennai maximum 30 and minimum 25 degrees. Hyderabad maximum 37 and minimum 23 degrees.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
You are watching India Today.
Good morning. You're watching India Today Television. I'm Sneha Mordani. Let's begin this edition with the headlines and the top stories here first. Uncertainty over West Asia war continues. P-Texet meets soldiers in West Asia. Trump says will leave Iran within 2 to 3 weeks. Says no need for deal with Tehran to end the war. Will he announce the end to the war in his address to the nation tomorrow? Iran threatens to attack U.S. companies. Google, Apple, Tesla are Tehran targets. Iran mobilizes soldiers for defense. Iranian forces showcase military might. The war as Biden tracks within the NATO allies raise red flags, deny use of its bases by U.S. Trump is fuming, calls them unhelpful.
We'll be leaving very soon. And if France or some other country wants to get oil or gas, they'll go up through the strait and Hormuz Strait. They'll go right up there and they'll be able to fend for themselves.
Commercial LPG prices hiked by 195 rupees per 19 kilogram cylinder amid the crisis. Prices of domestic LPG though remain unchanged. Marginal hike in jet fuel prices. Government cushions shock of jet fuel price hike above 2 lakh, not for regular flights. Government says staggered rise to shield flyers from steep fare hike. Move after oil and aviation ministry's intervention. Malayalam director and producer Ranjit arrested on charges of sexual assault after a young actor filed a complaint. Filmmaker handed over to Kochi police. And we have news just coming in. We've been reporting on how sirens have gone off in Tel Aviv in Israel at this point in time. Missile debris on the streets of Tel Aviv. Israel has thwarted missiles over Tel Aviv. On camera impact of the missile hit. Brave reportage from Pranay Upadhyay amid raining missiles. India Today is at the war epicenter of Tel Aviv. India Today's fearless reportage. Pranay Upadhyay is now joining us for the very latest at this point in time. Pranay, what is going on there? Even as we are concerned about your well-being, just try and give us a glimpse of the situation at this point in time, Pranay.
Cela exige d'autre part que le Hezbollah mette un terme à ses attaques et qu'il remette ses armes.
Sneha, you have to repeat the question.
Pranay, I hope you are okay. You know, just give us an understanding of the situation, Pranay. Yes.
Let me show you the site and let me also show you the emergency response system. Within minutes, you know, the police team, forensic teams have arrived here and now they are in a process to fill that crater. Yet another alert has come, Sneha. Yet another alert sounded. We may have to go to some kind of a shelter here. And at this very site where we are standing right now,
Pranay, I want you to go to a shelter. Pranay, we'll come back to you. Just go off to a shelter. You know, protect yourself first. Viewers, this is a very difficult situation. Even as we are in our studios here safe, Pranay is in fact in Tel Aviv, in Israel, where missiles have just been thwarted, and even as he was telling us about what really has happened, there was another sound, another siren that went off, another warning that went off, which has compelled my colleague, in fact, to take shelter, and rightfully so, because that is what the authorities require you to do each time there is an airstrike of this kind. Of course, we have the Iron Dome systems in Israel that are thwarting these attacks continuously, but continuously explosions have been heard. One immediately when Pranay was speaking with us. Right now we have these details from Tel Aviv that has come under attack. I think Pranay is back with us. Pranay, where are you at this point in time? Tell us. Yes.
We have few minutes to reach, and this is the advance warning we get. And after that, when the sirens go off, then that is the time you have to reach the shelter in any case. But this is also, I want to show you, Sneha. This is the visual. This is the sign of Israeli resilience as well. Their fight back mechanism as well. They have already filled that crater. They have already removed, and in fact, most of that emergency staff has also, gone. And in fact, they also wash that place. So, the pipes, the hoses for the water is there. And you can very well see from that distance, they are trying to remove every mark. And, if you come, say about like an hour after the impact, it will be very hard for you to find even traces of that. So look, this is how that emergency system works. They remove all the debris, they remove all the explosive pieces as well, and they try and fill that crater, and they try and remove every sign, that missile impact could have left.
Explain to us why this is done so quickly. Is this also something to do with, sending out the message to their citizens, their population, that things are okay and we are in control?
Obviously, that remains a fact that they want to show to the people of Israel that they are fighting back, they have their mechanism, and nothing has happened. Nothing so significant, nothing so impactful that it could hurt them, it could impact them, and could become their lasting memory. So they try and remove, they try and repair those places. I have visited many places, many impact sites, and within days, within that entire region or that entire area changes, that locality changes, and they start their repair work immediately. The insurers come within few hours, and in fact, the damage assessment and the damage repayment process also starts. So clearly, this also gives people an assurance that they are safe, and this is the mechanism of Israeli authorities, that how do they fight back with these incoming missiles as well. And look, the road cleaners are there. They will clean this entire region. They will clean this road, with water, with in fact, those road cleaners are also there, so that people can't find even debris or an impact site, and life can go absolutely normal within few hours.
With us, Pranay, just to tell our viewers that there's been an attack. This has been thwarted at this point in time. Pranay, also just show us around you, which area are you, exactly in, for those unaware of this particular stretch? Is this a busy sort of an area?
Obviously, Sneha, you can see behind me is a sea beach. Many morning walkers, morning joggers are there at this place, and just opposite to this sea beach, this is the hotel area where all the prominent hotels of Tel Aviv, sea beach hotels, are there. In fact, on this road, on my right, down few buildings, there is US Embassy. On my left, down few blocks and few buildings, there is Indian Embassy there. And you can very well imagine that how sensitive this area is. And within a period of 24 hours, this is yet another impact around this vicinity, around this area, because not far from this place, yesterday, a fragment landed there. That has also created a small crater. But this was a bigger impact. And look, Sneha, sirens have gone. Alerts have been sounded. Sirens went off.
Je ne me livrerai pas à une comparaison des déclarations.
Are blaring off. Pranay, in fact, do what is necessary. We'll just leave it at that for the moment. Coming back to you in a few moments from now, Pranay. Please do what is necessary. You have to take shelter and take the necessary precautions. At the end of the day, Israel directly engaged with Iran. It's a war. It has been playing out for a month plus now, viewers, even as the missiles are getting thwarted. But there is a risk factor, isn't it? Because missiles are raining in from Iran, and the excellent Iron Dome system system in Israel is thwarting these missiles, is what we know. And this is something which has become a way of life, really. Pranay was also giving us an overview of what he saw on the ground, where authorities were cleaning up the site and filling in the craters almost instantly as they struck the ground. Debris falls, and debris also, in fact, in a way, can in fact injure people. We've seen that in the past as well, that it's essentially missile debris that injure people. This is something that has been thwarted. This missile attack has been thwarted, but the debris lying on the grounds there in a busy sort of a stretch. Pranay is actually just where there is a beach. He said the people are there, in fact, going about their lives as usual. But these attacks, of course, tend to disturb regular life. Obviously, it would. The West Asia war continues for a day now. India Today's Pranay Upadhyay was on the ground a few moments ago. We've urged him to take shelter and do what is necessary to keep him safe.
Unifield continues to report
And we're staying with the war, and this is a different sort of a repercussion which is being felt in India as well. Indians are feeling the brunt of this, the West Asia war. Indian oil companies have announced a significant hike in the price of 19-kilogram commercial cylinders and 55-kilogram mini cylinders as well, the small ones. Prices for 5-kilogram mini cylinders have risen by 51 rupees. 19-kilogram commercial cylinders have also seen a hike, a steep one at that, ranging from 195 to 218. After the revision of rates, the prices of a 19-kilogram LPG cylinder, a commercial one, stands at 2,078 rupees 50 paisa in Delhi, 2031, I beg your pardon, in Mumbai cities. Also, other cities witnessing a surge of about roughly 195 rupees. In Kolkata, Chennai, the prices have seen a steep hike, where it now stands at 218 and 203, basically a hike of 218 and 203, respectively, bringing the new rates to 2,208, 2,246, respectively. India continues to get LPG reprieve, though. The carrier BW Tire has arrived at Mumbai safely, passing through the Strait of Hormuz, while another LPG carrier, BWM, is bound for New Mangalore. The tanker expected to reach India soon. Meanwhile, the U.S. is feeling the heat of the war. American media claiming that the U.S. is bracing for an oil price hike. A potential oil spike of 150 rupees, or rather $150 or higher, is expected. Reports have added that the White House is looking at the economic effects of higher prices.
Since the LPG crisis came in the forefront, we have been speaking to many restaurant owners as to how it has impacted their businesses. And we have been speaking to, in fact, I'm right now at Laddu Samrat, and owner of Laddu Samrat I've spoken to earlier as well, and who has been saying that how commercial LPG, because of the unavailability of it, has hurt the business quite a lot. They have had to change over to induction, tried charcoal as well. However, let me just put this question across to him exactly as to whether the increase of nearly 200 rupees on the price of commercial LPG, will that really impact the business? So will this price rise in commercial LPG, will that impact your business in any way?
Not that much. As far as the price rise is concerned, it is not going to affect in that proportion, because the amount is small. And how 200 rupees is going to affect the per plate price? Nothing.
But then availability is something...
It is very important. Uncertainty is very, not good for business.
As you heard, he has had to actually experiment with charcoal and induction as well. But then certainly he's still waiting for availability of LPG to be made so that he can, he can get on to business as he was doing earlier. Let me ask some of the customers here who have been eating. And sir, when you go across to various restaurants, are you able to get the favorite food that you really order every time? What are your options now?
At present, 25% option is available.
The customers here have had to, change their choices of food because of unavailability of gas, and that's one of the reasons why the restaurant owners are not able to cook all those foods that are actually on the menu. But certainly, what they're really hoping, even if the prices go up, there should be at least the availability of gas should be maintained by the government. With cameraman Kiran Sapkal in Mumbai, Vidya for India Today.
Due to West Asia war, right now the price of gas and the LPG
is increasing, and there is a steeper hike in the commercial LPG gas. And right now we are standing just in front of the Esplanade, Dakers Lane. This is also known as one of the food street of Kolkata, where various shops were there, as well as we are right now standing in front of one of the sweet shop where the customers are buying sweets. And here we can see there is various sweets were being made. And also on the other side, I will show you, there is one LPG commercial gas. It is closed. They are not using it. As we all know that the price of commercial gas in Kolkata right now raised by 214 rupees, and it was around 2200. भैया ये गैस आप लोग यूज नहीं कर रहे हो, अब सीधा चूल्हे जला रहे हो, क्यों?
गैस भैया हमको 10 दिन 12 दिन से दे ही नहीं रहा है, गैस नहीं है बोल तो हम लोग चूल्हा यूज कर रहा है.
And we can see that they are using wood and chulha for cooking the meals for the people, as huge amount of people come here to consume foods, as this is the nearby lane by the various working office. भैया आप लोग ये चूल्हे जला रहे हो, गैस नहीं मिल रहा है क्या?
गैस नहीं मिल रहा है, गैस अभी 6000 रुपये पहले बैलक में मांग रहा है.
6000. People may suffer, as the shopkeepers and the restaurant owners, shop owners, all are saying that they will hike the price of the food plates, sweets and everything. With camera person Argo Ghosh, Anirban Sinaroy for India Today, Kolkata.
We have more news coming in at this point in time. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Assam, and he is in fact interacting with the workers in tea gardens in Assam at this point in time, lending a helping hand at a tea garden. Take a look at these pictures coming in. The Prime Minister meeting women, tea garden workers. This is the pole-bound state of Assam. The plucking of tea leaves is followed by the women talking about their culture, and of course a selfie that was taken by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Prime Minister Modi has said proud of tea garden workers' efforts, calling tea garden staff Assam's pride.
No one is safe.
I'm going straight across to Piyush more on that. Piyush, an important outreach on the part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is a poll-bound state. Assam tea workers have not one but a dozen plus concerns that they sort of managed to find, voice to just in the run-up to elections. It happens each time. This time no different, isn't it?
Well, that's right, Sneha. PM Narendra Modi is in Assam's Dibrugarh, and very soon he's also going to address a rally which is an hour away from Dibrugarh, and this will be the first big rally of PM Narendra Modi after the announcement of all names of all the candidates of BJP on April 9. The elections are going to take place here in Assam, and the Prime Minister is going to make his first address today. But before that, what he did, he went to meet with the workers of tea garden. Remember that tea garden workers play a very important role as far as formation of government in the state of Assam is concerned. There are 40 seats, around 40 seats where they have influence, and 10 seats are there where when they vote the situation changes. So this is what BJP is also keeping in mind. PM Narendra Modi before addressing his rally is going to meet with the tea garden workers. Remember that in the past BJP government has also done a lot for the tea garden workers, be it about building infrastructure in the colonies where tea garden workers live, providing them healthcare, education facilities, assuring them about the land rights, and also increasing their wages from today onwards, which means on 1st of April we will also see increase in per day wages of tea garden worker from 250 rupees per day to 280 rupees. That is the announcement which has already been made, and from today it is going to be implemented. At the same time, the government has also announced that the tea
workers will also get land rights, and that is one of the big promise which has also been made in the manifesto released by BJP. So PM Narendra Modi is in Dibrugarh. He's going to address a rally. Before that, he ensured that he meets with tea garden workers, and after this meeting, he's going to address a grand rally in Assam.
Well, absolutely. Addressing a grand rally in Assam. Just a few days ago, he was there unveiling a series of projects in particular, and also handed off land pattas to these Assam tea workers. Talk to us about what the Bharatiya Janata Party has in plan for Assam tea workers, who form a huge chunk of the population. It's a key, in fact, economic activity in this particular region as well. What does the BJP have in store for them?
Well, Sonia, tea garden workers play a very, very important role in the elections of Assam. Like we mentioned, that there are 40 seats where they have influence, and in 10 seats they have a huge influence. And the leaders, the representatives of tea garden workers also become MLAs, and they take part in the government formation too. So their demands in the past have been of increasing their daily wages, of providing them land rights, and also giving them a scheduled tribe status. One demand has been fulfilled, that is of increasing the daily wage from rupees 250 to 280. On the other side, the land right is one of the biggest demands which they have been asking for, to which the government has also started issuing forms, and a few people have also been given the land rights. As far as the scheduled tribe status is concerned, on that we spoke to Union Minister Sarbanan Sonowal. He ensured that the government is working on this in a steadfast manner, and very soon many workers here in Assam will also get the status of scheduled tribe. So there are few points which tea garden workers have been raising, and in the last 10 years of BJP government, what we have also witnessed is that development has taken place in the parts, in the areas where tea garden workers live, near tea gardens itself, but still there are a few demands which they are asking from the government. We'll have to wait and watch if the government, if BJP is again able to form the government in the state of Assam, will they implement it or not?
All right, I'm going to thank you for the moment getting in those details, Piyush. Putting that into perspective, the Prime Minister in Dibrugarh in Assam at this point in time interacting with the tea workers. All right, let's tell you more about the US-Israel operations. It's been a month plus. Israeli forces have released data on 1 month of strikes carried out against Hezbollah targets, particularly in Lebanon. Israel says over 16,000 munitions have been used by Israel and Iran, and US-Israel forces have conducted over 800 airstrike missions. 7,000 plus targets have been hit across multiple war fronts, including over 400 targets bombed in Iran. Israel also claims Ali Khamenei and 40 Iranian officials were killed on day one of the war, which is 28th of February. Around 200 fighter jets deployed by US as well, and 750 Hezbollah fighters have been killed in Operation Lion's Roar. That's the claim that is now being made.
Recognizes that
America to re-examine ties with NATO allies. Marco Rubio says have to re-examine NATO ties after the war. No one can do anything to impede our mission. There's nothing any country is going to help Iran, and that is anyway impeding a mission, is what Fox News is reporting on at this point in time. Marco Rubio says there is potential for direct meeting with Iran at some point in time. That's what Fox News is reporting on. Also says we are going to have to re-examine NATO relationship after Iran war, is what is now being said by the top administrator.
I think there's no doubt, unfortunately, after this conflict is concluded, we are going to have to re-examine that relationship. We're going to have to re-examine the value of NATO and that alliance for our country. Ultimately, that's a decision for the president to make, and he'll have to make it. We're going to finish the job here. As I said, we're very, very close to achieving our objectives on all of these things that I've outlined. But I do think, unfortunately, we are going to have to re-examine whether or not this alliance that has served this country well for a while is still serving that purpose, or has it now become a one-way street where America is simply in a position to defend Europe, but when we need the help of our allies, they're going to deny us basing rights and they're going to deny us overflight?
It's the U.S. Secretary of State talking about the fact that there has to be a reassessment of ties with NATO countries. Well, the West Asia war has entered the 33rd day, and cracks within NATO are widening hours after key allies France, Spain and Italy refused access to their air bases to the US, which America has been fairly upset about. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio slammed NATO and said America will be re-examining ties with NATO allies after the war, and added that no one can impede America's mission. He's also expressed confidence in a possibility of a direct meeting between America and Iran at some point in time. Earlier, Donald Trump slammed UK and European partners, asking them to fight for themselves. Trump also told Britain to go get its own oil and that US will not be there to help UK anymore. He's also lambasted France for blocking US military flights, warning the US will remember the lack of cooperation after taking out what he called the butcher of Iran. Meanwhile, US Foreign Secretary Pete Hegseth has highlighted the strain on alliances, noting that while NATO decisions ultimately rest with the president, the conflict has exposed the limits of allied commitment, with support requests often met with roadblocks or hesitations.
And as far as NATO is concerned, that's a decision that will be left to the president. But I'll just say a lot has been laid bare. A lot has been shown to the world about what our allies would be willing to do for the United States of America when we undertake an effort of this scope on behalf of the free world. These are missiles that don't even range the United States of America. They range allies and others. And yet when we ask for additional assistance or simple access basing and overflight, we get questions or roadblocks or hesitations. And the president's pointing out, you don't have much of an alliance if you have countries that are not willing to stand with you when you need them. He's simply pointing that out, and ultimately it'll be his decision of what that looks like after this is complete.
The West Asia war is now hitting closer to home, both on the ground and in daily life. In central Israel, a missile strike has left several people injured after a residential area was hit. At the same time, the economic impact is beginning to bite, with fuel prices set for their first major hike since the war began. From explosions on the streets to rising costs at the pump, our ground reports capture how this conflict is no longer distant, but is now reshaping everyday life in Israel. Pranay Upadhyay brings you this exclusive ground report.
Yet another missile attack, yet another impact site. India today is trying to collect all the stories of Iranian missile hits in Israel, and what we are witnessing right now. I am currently in central part of Israel, and different cities are strategically targeted by the Iranian missiles. We have seen in last 36 hours that how strategically Iran is trying to coordinate and these attacks and these missile fires. On the southern part of Israel, they are coordinating with Houthis from Yemen, and on the northern part of Israel, they are targeting alongside Hezbollah's. But in the central part of Israel, including the city of Tel Aviv, they are repeatedly targeted, multiple locations. And in fact, in last 24 hours, there have been over 500 missile sirens, missile alerts, and in last 1 hour there have been 36 missile alerts sounded across Israel, and this remains yet another site. I am in Bnei Barak. This Bnei Barak is a populated area, you can make out, and largely Orthodox Jews live here. So this is yet another story that how Orthodox Jew settlement is being targeted here. Though a missile fragment, a missile piece landed on this roof, and this roof has collapsed. In fact, reportedly around 6 people are injured at this location. Emergency services have responded to the situation. They have taken all the injured to the medical facility, and in fact people have also gathered here in large numbers. As you can see, that small kids are also around, and this is largely a residential area. You can see from the visuals that how the house got impacted. In fact, you can also see rubble on the street, and also you can see that how cars also got impacted. And in fact, the kids have gathered in large number. You can see that a lot of young kids are around, and Orthodox Jews live in large numbers here, and this is largely a populated area. And even after interception, when these missile fragments, when these missile pieces fall on these locations, then they cause a lot of damage, and that has become a big challenge for Israeli missile defense system, their Iron Dome system. And in fact, despite interception, successfully neutralizing those missiles, the fragmented missiles fall and get scattered in a larger area, and that becomes a challenge for Israeli authorities. How to handle that challenge, because they are causing a lot of damages here. Around 22 people have lost their lives, though the number remains less as compared to the other areas or other member states of this conflict. But certainly this is a challenge for Israeli authorities as well, that how to minimize this impact, how to neutralize these missiles in a way that they do not cause a lot of damage, because the cluster ammunition is also being used in this conflict, and that has also turned into a big challenge. And in the last 12 hours, repeated sirens have sounded in the city of Tel Aviv and across the central part of Israel, and that has posed a bigger challenge, a wider challenge for Israeli authorities, how to contain those incoming missiles and also how to take on those incoming projectiles in a way that they do not cause a lot of damage at a wider area, and how to minimize their damages. Pranay Upadhyay, report from Banai Barak in Israel for India Today.
My colleague in Ground Zero telling us all that is happening in Tel Aviv. War continues to be our top focus right here. For the moment, we're pausing for a quick commercial break.
You are watching India Today.
Character, the taste of success.
My view, given us some rewards in terms of the fact that at least we can have dialogue now with all the principal stakeholders without that sense of mistrust that appeared to exist when this war started.
Hi, Sana here with a quick AQI update. Delhi 183, Mumbai 98, Kolkata 151, Bangalore 90, Chennai 63, Hyderabad 155.
The people in
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
exercise sovereignty.
हमारा एक जिंदगी का हीरो जो है, जो मैं लुकअप करता हूँ, हमारे पास बैठे हैं, किरण रिजिजू जी। ये जो मौका जो मिले हैं, स्पोर्ट्स एजुकेशन, यूथ और देश का सेवा और देश वालों का सेवा, यूथ का सेवा करने के लिए बहुत बड़ा मौका है हमारे लिए, और इसके लिए मैं बहुत बड़ा धन्यवाद कहना चाहता हूं प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को। ये जो पर्ची जो है ना, ये खाली पर्ची नहीं है, ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। 40 साल से मैं देश के लिए खेले, डेविस कप में, ओलंपिक्स में, माँ का नाम बढ़ाने के लिए, पापा का नाम बढ़ाने के लिए, फैमिली का नाम बढ़ाने के लिए और देश का नाम बढ़ाने के लिए। अभी ये जो नया खेल जो मैं लिए और मौका मिले हमारे भाई से कि अभी देश के लिए सेवा करने के, यूथ के लिए सेवा करने के लिए।
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Parce qu'il ne me viendrait pas à l'esprit.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Watching India Today.
Welcome back. US President Donald Trump has hinted at a swift end to the Iran conflict, saying American forces could withdraw within 2 to 3 weeks. During a press conference in the Oval Office, he said Washington is preparing to wind down the month-long war. Trump also said a deal with Tehran is not necessary to bring the conflict to an end. However, Trump asserted that the objective of the U.S. campaign against Iran was to push them back to Stone Age and dismantle their nuclear capabilities, which was achieved. As the West Asia conflict widens, commercial LPG prices have seen a hike of 195.50 per kilogram in the national capital. A 19-kilogram commercial LPG cylinder now costs 2,078 rupees. Meanwhile, prices of domestic LPG is unchanged. Amid ongoing West Asia war, jet fuel prices have been hiked marginally. Jet fuel prices have seen a hike of 8.5% for regular flights. According to the revised rates, jet fuel price in Delhi is at, in fact, rupees 4,927. Jet fuel prices for non-scheduled airlines hiked to 2 lakh rupees. Amid escalating war tensions, US President Donald Trump is set to address the nation at 6:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time tomorrow, with the Iran conflict intensifying. Concerns over rising living costs are mounting as citizens brace for economic fallout. The primetime address is expected to outline the next steps in the war and a possible exit strategy as well. Iran's Revolutionary Guards have threatened to target major U.S. technology and industrial companies from the 1st of April in what they described as retaliation for attacks on Iranian territory, according to state media reports. The statement named 18 companies, including Microsoft, Google, Apple, Intel, IBM, Tesla, and Boeing, warning that their regional operations could be hit. According to a Wall Street Journal report, UAE is willing to join hands with US to open the Strait of Hormuz. This latest development comes as Iran continues its attack on the UAE and other Gulf states in response to US-Israeli attacks on its territory. US gas prices jumped past an average $4 a gallon for the first time since 2022 on Tuesday as the Iran war continues to push fuel prices higher worldwide. According to Iranian media reports, Israel launched attack at Zanjan's Shia mosque. In the attack, the Shia mosque was severely damaged. 3 people were killed. Major UAE airlines, Emirates, Etihad and Fly Dubai, have barred Iranian nationals from entering or transiting through the UAE due to escalating regional tensions. This effective the 1st of April. The restrictions apply to those holding Iranian passports, though exceptions exist for 10-year golden visa holders. As West Asia conflict enters day 33, Iran continues to attack Bahrain. Fresh explosions were reported in Bahrain. According to the government there, civil defense extinguishes a fire that broke out in a facility belonging to one of the companies due to the criminal Iranian aggression, is what a statement said, and the competent authorities have begun their procedures at this particular site. In a shocking daylight abduction in Iraq, American freelance journalist Shelley Kittleson has been kidnapped in central Baghdad. The abduction was caught on camera. The CCTV footage shows cars blocking Shelley and then 2 kidnappers approaching her. The kidnappers then push the woman journalist and drag her into the car. The kidnappers can be seen fleeing in a car with the woman journalist. The Iraqi Interior Ministry has said security forces had chased the reporters' abductors in a pursuit that resulted in one of the kidnappers' cars overturning and the arrest of 1 suspect. U.S. State Department has confirmed it is working closely with Iraqi authorities and the FBI to bring her home safely. Officials say Kittleson had received multiple warnings, including the night before, about kidnapping threats from Iranian proxy groups.
Shelley was prominently reporting across Baghdad on the ongoing situation. In fact, she was also amongst them to giving account details of how the Shia Iraqi militia, the Iranian proxy, were targeting the American assets and across the tension. So the event that unfolded yesterday, she was in Iraq and 2 cars. We see all of a sudden from a point, 1 car came, people coming down. Literally in the CCTV footage, 2 people were seen. They dragged her in, and then she was taken to another pocket where she was transferred into another car. In fact, as we speak, reportedly what we are hearing from, of course, we are waiting for another official confirmation that perhaps she has been rescued. So the entire detail of the operation that is yet to come. But these images are literally horrific and scary. And remember that in the Middle East, we are already seeing tension for the journalists. We have seen 3 journalists killed in Lebanon, journalists also killed in Tehran, in the airstrikes by America and Israel. And here in Iraq, another American prominent journalist who was reporting on the ongoing tension was abducted. Now, the purpose of abduction, whether she was being an American or an American journalist, she was abducted. That is yet to be ascertained. But for now, the unconfirmed report says the rescue operation was already carried out, and finally she has been evacuated. But this is extremely shocking for the cross journalistic fraternity, that in the different critical situation the journalists are reporting, but in Iraq, in Baghdad, it's no more safe. And clearly that becomes literally hostile by the militia and the different groups working across Baghdad, across Iraq. That this is literally a hostile time for all the journalists who are reporting the ongoing escalation in the Middle East.
So more details of the American journalist who's been abducted in Iraq, independent conflict zone. And the journalist was reported extensively on ISIS operations, also focusing on militias and regional conflicts here. She was, in fact, in Baghdad, from where the abduction happened, reported on Iran-US regional tensions, published in the BBC, Politico, and Foreign Policy, covered Iran-linked militias in Iraq. Also, the work that she did featured in Iran-linked Al-Monitor and New Lines, ground reporting from active conflict zones, abducted in Baghdad by unidentified gunmen. Iraq authorities have launched a search operation. One suspect has been detained after failed escape attempt. News back home, let's tell you about what's happening in Tamil Nadu as far as the elections are concerned here. MK Stalin, the CM, is quoted famous film dialogue to attack the NDA. Stalin quotes, "He is groomed, but he wears my shirt." In fact, his quotes are from a famous film, Padayappa, where Stalin hints at AIADMK surrendering to the BJP in the elections. Edapadi Palaniswamy is turning into RSS stooge, is what MK Stalin, the DMK patriarch, has said. The chief minister says BJP will change Tamil Nadu's name to Dakshina Pradesh. Can't let them turn Tamil Nadu into UP or Manipur, is the attack from MK Stalin here.
இப்படி பாஜகவோட கூட்டணி சேர்ந்து முழுசா சந்திரமுகியாவே மாறி இருக்கிறார் பழனிசாமி. அதாவது முழு சங்கியாகவே மாறிவிட்டார். ஊரூரா போய் அதிமுக கூட்டணியில எந்த பிரச்சனையும் இல்லைன்னு பழனிசாமி சொல்லிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறார். பிரச்சனை இல்லைன்னா இதுக்காக அத்தனை தடவை டெல்லிக்கு போனீங்க? டெல்லிக்கு போய் அமித்ஷாவுடைய அப்பாயின்மெண்ட்டுக்காக பல மணி நேரம் ஏன் காத்து கிடந்தீங்க? அது வேற வேற கார்ல மாறி மாறி போய் முகத்தை எல்லாம் மூடிக்கிட்டு ஏன் வெளியில வந்தார்? நான் கேட்கிறேன், கூட்டணிக்கு தலைமை அதிமுக தான் சொல்றாங்க. ஆனா எல்லா கட்சிகளும் பாஜக கிட்ட போய் ஏன் பேச்சுவார்த்தை நடத்தினாங்க? இது எப்படி தெரியுமா இருக்கு? மாப்பிள்ளை அவர்தான். ஆனால் அவர் போட்டிருக்க சட்டை என்னோடதுன்னு நம்ம சூப்பர் ஸ்டார் நடிச்ச படையப்பா படத்தில் வர்ற காமெடி மாதிரி இருக்கு. திராவிட மாடல் தொடரணும். பாஜகவும் அதன் கொத்தடிமையும் கூட்டமும் அதோட தீமைகள் நாம நினைச்சு பார்க்க முடியாத அளவுக்கு இருக்கும். தமிழ்நாடு தமிழ்நாடாக தான் இருக்கணும். உத்தரப்பிரதேசம் போல மணிப்பூர் போல வன்முறை காடா மாறக்கூடாது. இவங்க வந்தா தமிழ்நாட்டோட பெயரை தட்சிண பிரகாஷ்னு கூட மாற்றவும் தயங்க மாட்டாங்க. இதை தடுக்கணும்னா ஒட்டுமொத்த தமிழ்நாடும் பாஜக அதிமுக கூட்டணிக்கு எதிராக ஓரணியில் இணையணும். நம்முடைய எதிரிகளையும் பாஜகவுடைய உதிரிகளையும் வீழ்த்தணும். நல்லா புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க, நாம போராடுறது திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழகத்துடைய வெற்றிக்காக மட்டுமல்ல, நம்முடைய மதச்சார்பற்ற முற்போக்கு கூட்டணியுடைய வெற்றிக்காக மட்டுமல்ல, தமிழ்நாட்டினுடைய வெற்றிக்காக.
This has been a common refrain of MK Stalin, the DMK, that this is AIADMK that has sold its soul to the Bharatiya Janata Party as a part of the alliance. They're going to do anything to make the NDA win, but at the same time compromise on their own ideology, on what they really stand for. And that's the reason why this attack has been made by the CM here.
Hello.
Apurva.
Well, that's right. In fact, they have strong statements coming in by Chief Minister MK Stalin. In fact, he has slammed the BJP and the AIADMK. In fact, he's going out and saying that Edapadi Palaniswamy, who is the AIADMK and the NDA's chief minister candidate is an absolutely shameless person. He had in fact completely surrendered the AIADMK party to BJP is what MK Stalin has charged at Edapadi K. Palaniswamy. Not only that, he's also stating that should the BJP-led alliance, the AIADMK-led BJP alliance come into Tamil Nadu, then it will be that the BJP will turn Tamil Nadu into a violence-filled state, such like what happened in UP and Manipur, is what MK Stalin, the Tamil Nadu chief minister, has also lashed out at the BJP. Not only that, MK Stalin has also gone on and stated the BJP is trying to change states and names of the states as well. And if they come to power, they will not even hesitate to make Tamil Nadu as Dakshina Pradesh. That's what is the statement that has been made by Tamil Nadu Chief Minister MK Stalin. He has said that Edapadi K. Palaniswamy time and time again shamelessly has gone ahead and bowed down at the feet of BJP and Amit Shah. Why was it that so many times, EPS has gone to Delhi when earlier on, when J. Jayalalitha or Puruchi Talavar MGR was leading the party, it was the people in other alliance parties that came to Chennai, that came to where J. Jayalalitha or MGR was, whereas when it comes to EPS, it's the other way around. He's running pillar to post just to finalize deals with the BJP, and that's the kind of mindset that EPS has almost led to surrendering the party of AIADMK, a legacy of J. Jayalalitha and MGR, to the likes of Edapadi K. Palaniswamy and BJP.
Okay, that's what is being said by the DMK now. I'm going to ask you to be with us, Apurva Jayachandran, getting in those details. We have more news coming in at this point in time. Let's take a look. Right, in Tamil Nadu, BJP chief has confirmed that Annamalai is indeed in the poll fray amid speculations of Annamalai not contesting these elections. Nayanar Nagendran, BJP Tamil Nadu president, has spoken about it, saying that Annamalai indeed is in the BJP's list. His name is in the BJP candidate list. We can't announce which constituency at the moment. The BJP leadership will select suitable candidates. We will announce the candidates in a day or two. All right, now shifting focus briefly to the Prime Minister, who is, remember, in Assam today. Let's take a listen.
असम में 22 लाख से अधिक गरीब परिवारों को पक्के घर मिले हैं। मैं जरा आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं, यहाँ के गरीबों को कितने पक्के घर मिले हैं? 22 लाख। कितने पक्के घर मिले हैं? जोर से बताइए, कितने घर मिले हैं? गरीबों को कितने पक्के घर मिले हैं? ये घर घर पहुंचाइए। 22 लाख गरीब परिवारों को पक्के घर मिलना मतलब उनको एक नई दुनिया का जन्म हो जाता है। बीजेपी का संकल्प पत्र कहता है कि जिनको अभी तक पीएम आवास के घर नहीं मिले हैं, उनको भी पक्के घर मिलेंगे। आने वाले समय में 15 लाख और गरीब परिवारों को पक्के घर की गारंटी पक्की है। गरीब परिवारों के बच्चों को केजी से पीजी तक मुफ्त शिक्षा की घोषणा भी प्रशंसनीय है। साथियों, असम की बहनों बेटियों के लिए तो डबल इंजन सरकार का डबल बेनिफिट और भी आकर्षक होता जा रहा है। मैं जो आंकड़े बोल रहा हूं याद रखोगे? घर घर बताओगे? हर बूथ में बताओगे? मैं बताता हूं, लखपति दीदी अभियान से असम की बहनों को बहुत लाभ हुआ है। अभी तक असम की करीब 3 लाख बहनें लखपति बाइदो बन चुकी है। जरा मुझे बताइए कितनी लखपति बायदो बनी है? 3 लाख। कितनी लखपति बायदो बनी है? जरा जोर से बताइए, कितनी लखपति बायदो बनी है? कल असम बीजेपी ने ऐलान किया है कि अब डबल इंजन सरकार 40 लाख बहनों को लखपति बायदो बनाने के लिए प्रयास करेगी। कितने? 40 लाख बहनों को। आप सोचिए, 40 लाख बहनों को, मतलब 40 लाख घरों में कोई न कोई लखपति दीदी बनने वाली है। साथ ही असम बीजेपी ने अरुणोदय योजना में और अधिक बहनों को जोड़ने में और हर महीने मिलने वाली मदद को बढ़ाने की भी गारंटी दी है। हमारी बेटियों के साथ कोई धोखाधड़ी न कर सके, बेटियों का मान सम्मान और जीवन सुरक्षित रहे, इसके लिए भी अनेक बड़ी घोषणाएं की गई हैं। साथियों, असम में यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड लागू करना और हमारे आदिवासी समाज 6 शेड्यूल एरिया की संस्कृति और परंपराओं को सुरक्षित रखना, ये असम की पहचान बचाने के लिए बहुत बड़ी घोषणाएं हैं। और आप जानते हैं, बीजेपी जो कहती है वो करके दिखाती है। साथियों, किसानों का सशक्तिकरण डबल इंजन सरकार की बहुत बड़ी प्राथमिकता रही है। असम के 20 लाख किसानों को अभी तक पीएम किसान निधि के तहत 7,500 करोड़ रुपए मिल चुके हैं। अब असम बीजेपी ने घोषणा की है कि यहाँ के छोटे किसानों को हर वर्ष 11,000 रुपये अतिरिक्त मिलेंगे। इसके अलावा असम बीजेपी ने ट्रैक्टर, पावर टिलर और गायें खरीदने के लिए बहुत बड़ी मदद देने का ऐलान किया है। साथियों, बारिश और बाढ़ से भी सबसे अधिक नुकसान मेरे किसान भाई बहनों को होता है। मुझे बहुत संतोष है कि पीएम फसल बीमा योजना से असम के करीब 11 लाख किसानों को 730 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक का क्लेम मिल चुका है। लेकिन बीजेपी एनडीए सरकार का निरंतर प्रयास है कि बाढ़ की समस्या का भी स्थायी समाधान निकले। बीजेपी सरकार सैकड़ों करोड़ रुपए यहां आधुनिक तटबंध बनाने पर खर्च कर रही है। ब्रह्मपुत्र की सुबनसिरी नदी की गहराई को बढ़ाने के लिए प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं। सुबनसिरी लोअर हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक प्रोजेक्ट भी फ्लड को कंट्रोल करने में काफी मदद करेगी। अब असम बीजेपी ने राज्य को बाढ़ की परेशानी से मुक्त करने के लिए 18,000 करोड़ रुपए के विशेष मिशन का संकल्प किया है। 18,000 करोड़ रुपए किसानों के लिए। कितने? आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा कितने। जरा जोर से बताइए कितने। 18,000 करोड़ रुपए। कितने किसानों के लिए? कितने? ये पैसा बाढ़ की परेशानी कम करेगा और मेरे किसानों की रक्षा करेगा। इस क्षेत्र के विकास को नई गति भी देगा। साथियों, बीते एक दशक में असम ने विकास का एक लंबा सफर तय किया है। ये जो 20-25 साल के नौजवान हैं, इन्होंने बीजेपी एनडीए का सुशासन ही देखा है। इन्होंने कांग्रेस का राज का वो काला दौर नहीं देखा, जब असम से सिर्फ बम, बंदूक, दंगों और कर्फ्यू की ही खबरें आती थी। डबल इंजन सरकार ने बीते एक दशक में असम को स्थायी शांति की नई राह दिखाई है। असम के हजारों संतानें बीते एक दशक में बंदूक छोड़कर एक नए भविष्य से जुड़ी है। आज असम से सिर्फ विकास और विश्वास की ही खबरें आती है। आज असम से खबरें आती है नुमालीगढ़ रिफाइनरी की क्षमता 3 गुना करने की। आज असम से खबरें आती है नुमालीगढ़ में पहली बांस आधारित बायो रिफाइनरी शुरू होने की। आज असम से खबरें आती है नामरूप के खाद कारखाने की विस्तार की। साथियों, एक समय था जब दुनिया में असम की चर्चा चाय के लिए होती थी। असम यानी चाय, दुनिया भर में असम की चाय की सुवास थी। अब असम को दुनिया चाय के साथ साथ चीप से भी पहचानेगी। वो दिन दूर नहीं जब असम के सेमीकंडक्टर प्लांट से चीप का उत्पादन शुरू हो जाएगा। ये असम को आधुनिक टेक्नोलॉजी के एक बहुत बड़े हब के रूप में विकसित करेगा। आने वाले समय में फोन हो, गाड़ियां हो, टीवी, फ्रिज हो, ऐसे सामान असम की चिप से ही चलने वाले हैं। और इसलिए भाइयों बहनों, अब तो असम की क्या पहचान होगी? चाय भी और चिप भी। यही विकसित असम का हमारा रोड मैप है। मैं आपको भरोसा देता हूं, आप यहां फिर से बीजेपी सरकार बनाइए, असम का और तेजी से विकास होगा। और ये आपको मोदी की गारंटी है। आपना लोके याद आको ए बार बीजेपी सरकार बनाओ अहोमोर आरो बहुत बेसी उन्नति होबो। एया आपना लोको मोदी गारंटी। साथियों, असम को प्रकृति ने बहुत कुछ दिया है। असम के पास संसाधनों की कभी कमी नहीं रही है, लेकिन कांग्रेस ने सत्ता के लिए असम के समाज को भी बांटा और ब्रह्मपुत्र के 2 किनारों को भी कभी जुड़ने नहीं दिया। कांग्रेस ने 60-65 साल में ब्रह्मपुत्र पर सिर्फ 3 ही पुल बनाए। 60-65 साल में कितने पुल? कितने पुल? कितने पुल? पुलों के अभाव में कितने ही लोगों को हमें खोना पड़ा, कितनी ही पीढ़ियों को मुश्किल से गुजरना पड़ा। डबल इंजन सरकार ने इस पीड़ा को, इस परेशानी को समझा और 10-11 वर्षों में ही ब्रह्मपुत्र पर 5 बड़े ब्रिज पूरे किए। कितने? 5 बड़े ब्रिज। 65 साल में 3, 11 साल में 5। बड़ा काम हुआ कि नहीं हुआ? और सभी 5 बड़े पुलों पर काम तेजी से चल रहा है। आज बोगीबिल ब्रिज और भूपेन हजारिका सेतु ने उत्तरी असम सहित पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट के जीवन को बदल दिया है। कांग्रेस रहती तो ये ब्रिज आज भी पूरे नहीं हो पाते। इसलिए तो आज हर कोई यही कह रहा है, असम को आधुनिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अगर कोई पार्टी दे सकती है तो वो बीजेपी है, एनडीए है। अहोमोग जोदी आधुनिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कोनोबा पार्टीए दीबो पारे तेंते हेई पार्टी होई छे बीजेपी एनडीए। साथियों, कांग्रेस के लिए हमेशा पावर पॉलिटिक्स और अपना परिवारी फर्स्ट रहा है। दिल्ली में एक परिवार और एक परिवार यहाँ भी है। एक परिवार दिल्ली में और एक परिवार असम में। कांग्रेस के लिए इन्हीं परिवारों का हित सर्वोपरि है। कांग्रेस ने दशकों तक सरकारें चलाई है, लेकिन आप लोगों के स्वास्थ्य पर बिल्कुल ध्यान नहीं दिया। 6-7 दशक में असम में केवल 6 मेडिकल कॉलेज बन पाई थी। कितनी मेडिकल कॉलेज? ऐसा नहीं, जोर से बोलिए, बारिश आ रही है फिर भी बोलिए। कितनी मेडिकल कॉलेज? कितनी मेडिकल कॉलेज? आज असम में यानी 60-65 साल में 6 मेडिकल कॉलेज। आज असम में 14 मेडिकल कॉलेज है और 10 मेडिकल कॉलेज पर काम चल रहा है। कितनी मेडिकल कॉलेज? 14 और 10 बन रही है, 24 हो जाएगी। उन्होंने 65 साल में 6 बनाई, हम 11-12 साल में 24 मेडिकल कॉलेज। इसमें एक मेडिकल कॉलेज यहीं धेमाजी में भी बन रहा है। इतना ही नहीं, आज असम में एम्स भी है। इसी तरह असम में इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज की संख्या 7 हो गई है और पॉलिटेक्निक कॉलेज 10 से बढ़कर 26 हो चुके हैं। यहाँ गोगामुख में ही एग्रीकल्चर रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट का शिलान्यास और धेमाजी इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज का लोकार्पण करने का अवसर तो आपने मुझे ही दिया था। धेमाजी आईटीआई और धेमाजी पॉलिटेक्निक को भी अपग्रेड किया जा रहा है। यानी असम को बेहतर इलाज मिले, बेहतर पढ़ाई की सुविधाएं मिले, ये हमारी प्राथमिकता रही है। इससे गरीब हो या मिडिल क्लास, सबका जीवन बेहतर होता है। असम के गरीब और मध्यम वर्ग का कल्याण बीजेपी की बहुत बड़ी प्राथमिकता है। अहोमोर भुक्षिया आरो मध्योवित्तो श्रेणीर उन्नति कोरा तो बीजेपी मूल प्राथमिकता। साथियों, आपने कांग्रेस के कुशासन से असम को मुक्त किया है, लेकिन आपको बहुत सतर्क रहना है। कांग्रेस अब एक अलग ही खेल खेलने में जुटी है।
qu'Israël renonce à toute
असम कांग्रेस के
intervention
नेता
terrestre et à toute occupation
एक
du territoire
खतरनाक
libanais
कानून
qui ne
बनाने
ferait
की
éloigner
बात
la
कर रहे हैं।
Cela exige
आखिर
d'autre
ये
part que le
खतरनाक
Hezbollah
कानून
mette
क्या है?
et qu'il remette ses armes à l'état
आज
conformément à la
असम
décision
की जनता के
prise
सामने
par le gouvernement libanais.
कांग्रेस की इस चाल का
Le
पर्दाफाश
Hezbollah
करना
doit
चाहता
cesser
हूं।
de prendre en otage le peuple libanais
साथियों,
au service d'une guerre
2014 के चुनाव से पहले
que nous condamnons absolument.
कांग्रेस की केंद्र
L'Iran
सरकार
doit
ने
également se conformer aux décisions
एक
prises
कम्युनल वायलेंस कानून बनाने का प्रयास किया
d'exiger le
था।
départ de l'ambassadeur d'Iran au Liban.
इसका मकसद था अपने पक्के वोट बैंक का तुष्टीकरण। इस बिल में बहुसंख्यकों को दंगे के लिए जिम्मेदार माना गया था। बहुसंख्यक लोग गुनहगार माने गए थे और धार्मिक अल्पसंख्यकों को हमेशा के लिए पीड़ित माना गया था। ये बिल अपने आप में सांप्रदायिक था, इसलिए बीजेपी एनडीए ने संसद में ये कानून नहीं बनने दिया। जी भर के हम लड़ाई लड़े। ये कानून अगर बन जाता और कांग्रेस की सरकार अगर बनी रहती तो देश के बहुसंख्यक समाज का कितना शोषण होता, इसकी आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं। बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर ने जो संविधान बनाया, उस संविधान के पीठ में छुरा भोंकने का एक खेल चल रहा था। साथियों, अब 12 साल बाद कांग्रेस यहाँ असम में भी उसी तरह का कानून बनाने की घोषणा कर रही है। और ये कोई मेरा आरोप नहीं है, खुद कांग्रेस के नेता खुले आम ये घोषणाएं कर रहे हैं। ये एकदम साफ है कि कांग्रेस अब सत्ता पाने के लिए कुछ भी कर सकती है। अब तो मुस्लिम लीगी माओवादी कांग्रेस बन चुकी है। आजादी से पहले मुस्लिम लीग ने देश को बांटने का खेल खेला, वही काम आज कांग्रेस कर रही है। साथियों, आज कांग्रेस घुसपैठ और घुसपैठियों को भी खुला समर्थन दे रही है। पहले कांग्रेस असम में घुसपैठियों को खुली छूट देती थी, यहाँ किसानों और आदिवासियों की जमीन पर कब्जे करने दिए। अब जब बीजेपी एनडीए सरकार इस अवैध कब्जे को हटा रही है तो कांग्रेस इस पर भी बवाल कर रही है। साथियों, कांग्रेस असम में विदेशियों को बसाना चाहती है, असम की मूल संतानों को अल्पसंख्यक बनाना चाहती है। असम के अनेक जिलों में ये संकट हम सभी देख रहे हैं। बीजेपी एनडीए सरकार किसानों, आदिवासियों और हमारे जंगल की जमीन को घुसपैठियों के कब्जे में नहीं रहने देगा। अवैध कब्जे के खिलाफ बीजेपी एनडीए सरकार की कार्रवाई जारी रहेगी। असमिया शान और पहचान बनी रहेगी, ये मोदी की गारंटी है। साथियों, बीजेपी एनडीए सरकार का मंत्र है नागरिक देवो भव। जो किसी भी कारण से विकास में पीछे छूट गया है, उसके आगे लाना ये हमारी प्राथमिकता है। इसी भाव के साथ हमारी सरकार ट्राइबल समाज के वेलफेयर और विकास के लिए काम कर रही है, लेकिन कांग्रेस ट्राइबल समाज के अपमान का भी कोई मौका नहीं छोड़ती है। यहाँ मिसिंग जनजातीय समाज को भी दशकों तक कांग्रेस की उपेक्षा का सामना करना पड़ा है। ये हमारी सरकार है जिसने बीते 10 वर्षों में मिसिंग समुदाय के विकास के लिए अनेक कदम उठाए हैं और ये मेरा सौभाग्य देखिए, ये मिसिंग समाज ने मेरा सम्मान किया है। ये मेरे लिए बड़ा गौरव है, ये मेरी भी शान बढ़ा रहा है। मैं मिसिंग समाज के इस प्यार को सर आंखों पे चढ़ाता हूं। आज सैकड़ों प्राइमरी स्कूलों में मिसिंग में पढ़ाई हो रही है। मिसिंग यूथ फेस्टिवल के आयोजन के लिए करोड़ों रुपए की मदद दी की है। मिसिंग युवाओं के रोजगार के लिए भी डबल इंजन सरकार निरंतर नए कदम उठा रही है। मैं आज जितने भी जनजातीय समाज है सभी को आश्वासन देने आया हूं कि सबके सपनों, सबकी आकांक्षाओं को पूरा किया जाएगा। भाजपा विकास और विरासत दोनों के लिए काम करने वाली पार्टी है। आपकी संस्कृति और आपके सपनों को बीजेपी पूरा सम्मान दे रही है और आगे भी आपकी आकांक्षाओं का हम पूरा ध्यान रखेंगे। साथियों, बीजेपी एनडीए सरकार विकसित असम के लिए लगातार काम कर रही है। 9 अप्रैल को मतदान के पुराने सभी रिकॉर्ड टूटने चाहिए। रिकॉर्ड टूटेंगे कि नहीं टूटेंगे? अपने बूथ में रिकॉर्ड तोड़ोगे, पहले से ज्यादा मतदान कराओगे, सुबह सुबह मतदान करा दोगे। ये जितने भी बीजेपी एनडीए के उम्मीदवार हैं, ये असम के सिपाही हैं, असम के तेज विकास के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। आप सभी कैंडिडेट आगे चले आइए। आप इन सभी को जरूर एमएलए बनाइए, बनाएंगे। साथियों, आप मेरा एक काम और करना करेंगे, मेरा एक काम करेंगे, जरा हाथ ऊपर करके बताइए, करेंगे? आप यहां से अपने घर जाएंगे, मतदान होने तक घर घर जाना है और परिवार में जिससे भी मिलना हो जाए उनको कहना कि मोदी जी आए थे और मोदी ने आप सभी को बोहाग बिहू की शुभकामनाएं भेजी है। बता दोगे? बोहाग बिहू की शुभकामना पहुंचाओगे? देखिए, आज मेरा सौभाग्य है, आज चुनाव प्रचार के लिए, चुनाव घोषित होने के लिए मैं पहली बार असम आया और आते ही मैंने क्या किया? आज सबसे पहले सुबह मैं टी गार्डन में गया। टी गार्डन में जाकर के टी गार्डन में काम करने वाली बहनों के आशीर्वाद लिए, उनको प्रणाम किया, उनकी शुभकामनाएं लेकर के मैं निकला हूं और मैंने उनसे जिंदगी जिस चाय से मेरी जुड़ी हुई है उस चाय की पत्ती को कैसे तोड़ते हैं उसको भी सीखा। साथियों, आपका ये प्यार मैं देख रहा हूं, जरा दिल्ली वालों को समझ नहीं आएगा, ये बारिश के बावजूद भी इतनी संख्या में लोगों का खड़े रहना, लगातार बारिश के बावजूद भी इतने लोगों का आना, ये हैट्रिक की गारंटी है, हैट्रिक की। और नामदार के पराजय की सेंचुरी की भी गारंटी है। बोलिए मेरे साथ, भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Loud Modi and Bharat Mata Ki Jai chants that are reverberating across Dhimaji as Prime Minister Narendra Modi just concluded his address in Assam. BJP sounding the poll bugle, and that is a high voltage campaign that is being led by the BJP. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who once again reiterated the issue of infiltrators, attacking the Congress to how they shielded infiltrators, but that issue that has been under check under the BJP's rule in Assam, where BJP is eyeing a third consecutive term in Assam. Confident of their victory, top leaders of the BJP who are on the ground campaigning across Assam ahead of the polls. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Assam today, as he's also there to inaugurate and flag off several development projects over 5,000 crore rupees that are aimed at strengthening connectivity, digital infrastructure, higher education and urban mobility across the northeast.
And normal life, not by retaliation.
And we cut across to more breaking news coming in. Oil farms that are bleeding heavily as the war rages on. It has been over a month, and the government is now revealing stunning fuel loss figures that are now being reported. The loss per liter of petrol that is sold is close to 24.4 rupees. The loss per liter of diesel that is sold is hefty. It is to the tune of 105 rupees. Diesel can now even be 192 rupees a litre if the government removes that cushion that they have. Petrol can go up to as much as 119 rupees a litre if that cushion is removed. At the moment where the government has now taken the loss that is being faced, they have taken it to pass on the benefit to oil companies, because if that eventually passes on to the consumer, then it is also possible that diesel can cost as much as 192 rupees a litre and petrol can cost as much as 119 rupees a litre. My colleague Aishwarya Patil joining us on the phone line with further details of how bad can it be. But we are still in a much better position to realize that the government is trying to contain the impact of the West Asia war as much as possible so that it does not trickle on people.
Well, as far as oil marketing companies are concerned, the Ministry of Petroleum in a recent tweet this morning has said that the petroleum companies, oil marketing companies like IOCL, BPCL, are absorbing under recoveries of about 24.40 paise per litre on petrol and 104.99 paise per litre on diesel at the retail selling price. Now, what exactly are under recoveries for oil marketing companies? Those are basically losses that these OMCs are incurring when selling these regulated petroleum products below the cost in order to protect the consumers from all of these high global crude oil prices between the West Asia war. So that's what this particular statement made by the government is coming in through for you. What they are trying to highlight here significantly is that even though the war is worsening, the West Asia crisis is worsening the energy market for us, including globally other countries as well, India is trying to keep a tab as much as possible on how much of a price hike we are trying to make. Even this morning when we spoke of ATF, the jet fuel as well, the government said that they could have done a 100% increase or more than that as far as jet fuel prices are concerned. But what we're hearing is that oil marketing companies will be looking at the situation and then increase it further from the 8.5% to maybe 25% or so in a phased manner in the next couple of weeks or so. Right now, as of today, as compared to March 1st and April 1st, the price hike in ATF is anywhere between 8 to 10% taken through by companies like IOCL, BPCL, etc. So that's the update, and that's what the government is hinting at this point, that there will be a hike, but it will be a more prudent and a more cautious hike. And a more conservative hike in terms of, commercial LPG, be it ATF, or even the premium prices of petrol and diesel.
All right, Aishwarya, many thanks for getting us those details. And well, in a bid to cushion airlines, oil marketing companies have revised aviation turbine fuel, that is ADF prices, with the new prices effective from today following intervention by the Petroleum Ministry and the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Amid concerns of a sharp global spike, especially due to disruptions around the Strait of Hormuz, the government capped the increase for domestic airlines at about 25%, despite benchmarks indicating a potential rise of over 100%. To limit the impact on airfares, OMCs implemented a staggered hike of 25%, that is 15 rupees a litre, while international carriers will face the full increase. Civil Aviation Minister Mr. Ram Mohan Naidu, who said that the move will help prevent sudden fare hikes, ease pressure on airlines and ensure stability in the aviation sector while maintaining essential connectivity and cargo movement. And that is the sort of relief that the government has ensured that is passed on to oil companies and even airlines when it comes to the rising fuel prices. Remember, oil supplies that have been disrupted across the globe owing to the West Asia war. But even as BJP continues to maintain that the situation is largely under control, where we've heard from Prime Minister and Home Minister to say that the situation is very much under control, this despite the fact that we see the globe facing the brunt of the West Asia war. Now, we just got you details of how the price hike in petrol and diesel could be much more had it not been for the government providing that cushion to oil companies. And similar is the case with airlines, where despite the price hike that is being seen when it comes to the tickets, but the new prices that will be effective from today following the intervention by the Petroleum Ministry and the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Now, there are sharp global spikes that have been witnessed, especially due to the disruption around the Strait of Hormuz, but the government has capped the increase for domestic airlines at about 25%, such that the end consumer, that is you and me, do not face the brunt of an excessive hike in ticket prices when it comes to airlines. The government that is providing that cushion given the jet fuel shock and ATF prices that have been revised twice. Now let's get you details and break down what exactly has happened. The revised morning of March, where Delhi has seen 1.04 rupees a litre, and that has now gone to 2.07 rupees a litre. So largely where you see that Delhi now stands at that difference in March, which is 96,638. Now, let's take a look, I beg your pardon, let's take a look at Kolkata, where it is about 1.9 lakh and about 2.5 lakh in the morning. You see that revision that is reflecting, and in March it stands at about 99,587. In Mumbai, if you see the similar figures, the ATF prices that have been revised twice. So where the revision has been about 98,247, which was about 1.94 lakh in Mumbai in the morning. So largely in March, it stands at 90,452. In Chennai, if you similarly see, the revision that is about 1.9 lakh. So in the morning, it actually stood at 2.14 lakh, and in March, largely it stands at about 1,280,000 rupees. Let me take this to my colleague Amit Bhardwaj, joining us live with further details of what the consumers / passengers have to brace for, given the fact that the government is still providing that cushion to airlines to ensure that the end of this brunt is not something that consumers have to face directly. But how long do we witness a situation like this?
This council owes them condolences, but we also owe them...
That totally depends on the West Asia conflict situation, because the different governments across the globe are hoping that West Asia conflict and the Iran war comes to an end. But this was certainly a situation that the Ministry of Civil Aviation had preempted, that on April 1st, when the ATF prices will be revised, there can be actually very serious implications on the civil aviation industry as well as the passengers, because already the operators, Indian operators, to be very specific, are bleeding because of extended routes, last-minute disruption because of the Iran war situation and the way things had especially unfolded in the first 2 weeks of March. Now, because the global oil prices and the ATF prices had surged in the past 4 weeks, it was obvious that it would also impact the prices back home, and that is why Civil Aviation Ministry was constantly holding consultation with the Petroleum Ministry, speaking to the stakeholders to ensure that some part of that pain could be absorbed by the OMCs, that is the oil manufacturing companies, the PSUs, and some part could be taken care of by the airlines eventually, giving cushion to the airlines as well as the passengers. And that is why the initial reactions that are coming up as well. The SpiceJet chairman, in fact, has issued a statement thanking the government for taking this timely decision. And he has gone on to say that this is unprecedented time. This kind of relief that has been given by the MOCA and the central government is certainly going to assist the civil aviation industry in the country, and they have welcomed the partial increase in the prices. As we were also breaking those prices for our viewers, what happened this morning, again to reiterate for our viewers, that oil ATF prices or the jet fuel prices had jumped had doubled this morning because of the revision. So for Delhi, if the prices were 99,000 rupees per kiloliter, it had increased to 2,07,000 rupees per kiloliter, so almost double increase. And similarly, wherever the VAT was more in the states, the prices were reflecting even higher. And there was a solid concern that was preempted by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Almost, I can tell our viewers for sure that for the past 2 weeks, constant deliberations were going on, consultations were going on between the MOCA and the Petroleum Ministry. In fact, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu, what I'm learning through my sources is that had also gone on to hold consultation with the chief ministers of the state, that too where the VAT charges on ATF is very high. So that particular aspect might take longer time for the states to actually assess and act accordingly, because for instance, Delhi is home to one of the biggest airports of the world. The VAT on ATF is 25% in Delhi. In Maharashtra, it is 18%. In Tamil Nadu, it is 29%. So the deliberations on that part might take longer time. The state governments positively responding to the request might take longer time. And that is why for now, a staggered increase has happened in the domestic route. 25% increment, staggered increment in the ATF has been allowed by the Petroleum Ministry. The OMCs will have to absorb the losses for now. But in the days to come, possibly if we see that some kind of favorable situation also unfolding from the state side, will this staggered increment be allowed to, OMCs will be allowed to increase it further? That is a question. But if VAT charges are dropped by the states, further relief could be brought in for the airlines and eventually the passengers. So for now, we can certainly say that a big crisis or the big fear of a surge in airfare or ticket prices in India has been deferred for a while for sure. Back to you.
And we wait and watch how long that lasts. Amit, I want to thank you for getting us those latest details. Indians are certainly feeling the brunt of the escalating West Asia war. Indian oil companies that have announced a significant hike in the price of 19 kg commercial cylinders and 5 kg mini cylinders. Prices for the 5 kg mini cylinders that have now risen by about 51 rupees, while the 19 kg commercial cylinders that have seen a steeper hike ranging from about 195 rupees to 218 rupees. After the revision of rates, the price of a 19 kg commercial LPG cylinder that now stands at 2,078.5 rupees in Delhi and about 2,031 rupees in Mumbai. Both cities have witnessed a surge of about 195.5 rupees. In Kolkata and Chennai, the prices have seen a steeper rise, which is 218 rupees and 203 rupees respectively, bringing the new rates to about 2,208 rupees and 2,246 rupees respectively. Amid this, India continues to get LPG reprieve. The LPG carrier BWTYR that has arrived in Mumbai safely passed through the Strait of Hormuz, while another LPG carrier BWELM that is bound for New Mangalore, the tanker is expected to reach India soon. Meanwhile, the US is also feeling the heat of the war. US media has claimed that the US is bracing for an oil price hike and a potential oil spike of about $150 or more that is expected. Reports have also added that the White House is looking at the economic effects of higher prices.
Due to West Asia war, right now the price of gas and the LPG is increasing, and there is a steeper hike in the commercial LPG gas. And right now we are standing just in front of the Esplanade, Jakers Lane. This is also known as one of the food street of Kolkata, where various shops were there, as well as we are right now standing in front of one of the sweet shop where the customers are buying sweets. And here we can see there is various sweets were being made. And also on the other side, I will show you, there is one LPG commercial gas. It is closed. They are not using it. As we all know that the price of commercial gas in Kolkata right now raised by 214 rupees, and it was around 2200. भैया ये गैस आप लोग यूज नहीं कर रहे हो, अब सीधा चूल्हे जला रहे हो, क्यों?
गैस भैया हमको 10 दिन 12 दिन से दे ही नहीं रहा है, गैस नहीं है बोल के हम लोग चूल्हा यूज कर रहे हैं.
And we can see that they are using wood and chulha for cooking the meals for the people, as huge amount of people come here to consume foods, as this is the nearby lane by the various working office. भैया आप लोग ये चूल्हे जला रहे हो, गैस नहीं मिल रहा है क्या?
गैस नहीं मिल रहा है. गैस अभी 6000 रुपये पहले बैलक में मांग रहा है. 6000
people may suffer, as the shopkeepers and the restaurant owners, shop owners, all are saying that they will hike the price of the food plates, sweets and everything. With camera person Argo Ghosh, Anirban Sinaroy for India Today, Kolkata.
Hotels in Chennai have reported that situation has gotten a bit better compared to what it was 2-3 weeks back when there was a dire shortage of LPG cylinders. But now what the hotels have done is that they've come to a workaround situation where they have tweaked their menu in the evening. So for all those food items that would consume a lot of LPG and gas, they have cut down that particular menu. For example, Chinese or North Indian dishes like naan and gravy, which actually consume a lot of gas. They have cut down all those food items, and only those food items that consume low to medium amount of gas. It's that kind of varieties are still operational. People have been normal in their visits to restaurants. There hasn't been any dip or such. People continue to eat, and even the price rise across Chennai, some hotels have slightly increased the food prices on their menu to compensate for the additional expenses that they have to undergo because of the shortage in LPG. But overall, situation in Chennai is not too bad like how it was before. Restaurants are functioning as per normalcy, but with slight few tweaks. With camera person Daniel, Anaga Keshav reporting for India Today from Chennai.
Since the LPG crisis came in the forefront, we have been speaking to many restaurant owners as to how it has impacted their businesses. And we have been speaking to, in fact, I'm right now at Ladu Samrat, and owner of Ladu Samrat I've spoken to earlier as well, and who has been saying that how commercial LPG, because of the unavailability of it, has hurt the business quite a lot. They have had to change over to induction, tried charcoal as well. However, let me just put this question across to him exactly as to whether the increase of nearly 200 rupees on the price of commercial LPG, will that really impact the business? So will this price rise in commercial LPG, will that impact your business in any way?
Not that much. As far as the price rise is concerned, it is not going to affect in that proportion because the amount is small. And how 200 rupees is going to affect the per plate price? Nothing.
But then availability is something.
It is very important. Uncertainty is very, not good for futures.
As you heard, he has had to actually experiment with charcoal and induction as well. But then certainly he's still waiting for availability of LPG to be made so that he can, he can get on to business as he was doing earlier. Let me ask some of the customers here who have been eating. Sir, when you go across to various restaurants, are you able to get the favorite food that you really order every time? What are your options now?
At present, 25% option is available.
The customers here have had to, change their choices of food because of unavailability of gas, and that's one of the reasons why the restaurant owners are not able to cook all those foods that are actually on the menu. But certainly, what they're really hoping, even if the prices go up, there should be at least the availability of gas should be maintained by the government. With cameraman Kiran Sapkal in Mumbai, Vidya for India Today.
ईरान वॉर के बीच में और मिडल ईस्ट में जो क्राइसिस हुआ उसके बाद एलपीजी का क्राइसिस लगातार जो है भारत के कई हिस्सों में देखा गया। लोग डोमेस्टिक सिलेंडर लेने के लिए भी लाइनों में लगे, लेकिन अब कमर्शियल सिलेंडर के जो रेट हैं वो भी लगभग 200 रुपया जो है वो भारत में बढ़ा दिए गए हैं। तो उसका स्मॉल वेंडर पे क्या इम्पैक्ट है? हम इस वक्त 9 सेक्टर में हैं जो एक पॉपुलर जॉइंट है जो पराठास बनाते हैं, और इनकी क्या कंजम्पशन है और इससे इम्पैक्ट क्या होगा? हाँ जी, क्या नाम है आपका?
बदलू साहू।
बदलू जी, ये बताइए कि यहाँ पे आप पराठा बेचते हैं अलग अलग तरह का, तो एलपीजी सिलेंडर्स की कितनी खपत होती है आपकी कमर्शियल सिलेंडर्स की?
कमर्शियल 1.5 दिन में खत्म हो जाता है, ये सिलेंडर 1.5 दिन में खत्म हो जाता है।
तो अब जो है एलपीजी सिलेंडर जो है लगभग 200 रुपया जो है वो महंगा हो गया है। 195 से 214 रेंज है जिसमें महंगा हुआ है, तो उससे आपको क्या असर पड़ेगा?
5-4 रुपये हम भी बढ़ाएंगे, क्या करेंगे?
चाहे बड़े रेस्टोरेंट हों, होटल्स हों, लेकिन स्मॉल टाइम वेंडर्स जो हैं उनके भी ऊपर असर है। और जिस तरह कमर्शियल गैस का जो रेट बढ़ा है उससे उन्होंने तय कर लिया है कि अगर जिस तरह ये गैस का रेट बढ़ा है वो भी अपने प्रोडक्ट का रेट जो है यहाँ पर बढ़ाएंगे। चंडीगढ़ से कैमरा पर्सन अमन के साथ असीम बसी।
With that, it's time for us to slip into a very short commercial break. On the other side, we'll get you details of how the war is widening cracks within NATO, allies raising red flags, denying the use of its bases by the US. Trump is fuming, calling them unhelpful allies.
Character, the taste of success.
Like I said before, we better own the sin. Like I said before, we better own the sin.
If you want to scale the media heights, we will teach you the ropes. There is no peak in journalism that our mentors haven't scaled. So look no further. Join our postgraduate diploma programs and gain guaranteed internship and proven placement record with top media houses and companies. For more information, visit indiatodayMediaInstitute.in or call 95600 65465.
I don't think India ever took a side. It may have been an impression in some people's minds that India took a side. India was always multi-aligned as far as the situation is concerned.
La volonté que soit et nous rappelons toujours la responsabilité.
आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी के परिवार में लिएंडर पेस का एंट्री एक ऐतिहासिक है। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने खेल और खिलाड़ियों के लिए पिछले 12 वर्षों में जो काम किया है, उससे प्रभावित होकर के, इंस्पायर्ड होकर के आज लिएंडर पेस हमारे बीच में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का मेंबरशिप लेकर के सदस्य बने हैं।
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Thank you for staying with India Today. I'm Suesha Samant, and we are now getting you more breaking news coming in as the centre has introduced the bill to make Amravati, the capital of Andhra, end in sight for Andhra capital conundrum, where 3 capital models set to be junked for Andhra Pradesh. Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, who's bullish on making Amravati Andhra Pradesh's capital. This is the latest that is just coming in, as the centre has now introduced the bill to make Amravati the capital of Andhra Pradesh. Amit Bhardwaj joining us on the broadcast with further details. Amit, do tell us, the bill has been introduced, a 1-hour discussion that is also to be held on the bill. Is the Congress likely to support the bill? What could happen further?
Well, you know, as far as the Andhra Pradesh Amendment Bill, Reorganization Amendment Bill is concerned, what it looks like is that GDP is obviously on board. This is like a dream come true moment for them. Chandrababu Naidu had envisioned that Amravati will be made the capital of Andhra Pradesh, and between 2019 and 24, a real roadblock came in form of YSRCP government and Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy, because they had a different opinion about Amravati and a 3 capital formula. Now that the Andhra Pradesh is back in hands of Chandrababu Naidu and the NDA, they thought that this is the best time to actually get a legal binding to it. So in the past 2 years, the foundational work was done. Centre had allotted a lot of funds for development of infrastructure in Amravati, and the bill has now been tabled in the parliament. The Congress party, Manikam Tagore, he rose in the House. He has supported the bill. So that is very important part, that the principal opposition in the parliament, however, they don't have the numbers in Andhra Pradesh, but certainly as far as the parliament picture is concerned, the Lok Sabha picture is concerned, the Congress party has already extended their support to this particular bill. However, they have also suggested a couple of riders, assurance of centers, assistance and funding for development of Amravati, and 2 or 3 different centers, so that there is holistic development in the state. So major hurdle gone. Congress party has already extended their support for the bill. The Bharatiya Janata Party, Andhra Pradesh, has also extended their support to the bill. Obviously, they are partners in the state government and centre as well as part of the NDA. CM Ramesh, the MP from the BJP, rose. He was speaking in favor as to how Amravati should have been developed as the state capital already, as to how the YSRCP government in the past became the roadblock in that process. And he also thanked the farmers of the state who stood with this idea. Nearly, over 30,000 farmers, 34,000 farmers who had given their 29,000 acres of land for making that dream come true, Amravati as the new capital of Andhra Pradesh. Pema Swami, who's the MOS in the union government, the TDP MP from Amravati, also gave a very emotional speech in support of the idea. What I'm given to understand that Lavu Krishna, the parliamentary party chief of the TDP, he'll be also speaking. So largely, already there was no roadblock as far as the number game in the Lok Sabha was concerned. With the Congress party support, it seems like a cakewalk for this, for the passage of this bill. Back to you.
All right, Amit, many thanks for those details. And that is Amit getting us all the details of how now the way is clear as far as Amravati to be the official capital of Andhra Pradesh is concerned, as the centre is tabling the bill in the Lok Sabha. And the move that follows a unanimous resolution passed by the Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly on the 28th of March, urging the centre to grant legal recognition to Amravati as the permanent capital. So far, that it has been based on the three capital model. Now it seems like the way is clear and Amravati shall be the new capital of Andhra Pradesh. The Congress coming out fully in support of it. That is also the principal opposition. And with this, as Chandrababu Naidu had been urging that the change must be invoked, seeming like the way is now clear as the bill to be tabled in Lok Sabha.